What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the live stream of the NFL draft. The Tennessee Titans are on the board, y'all. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I am so excited. So excited for this draft. There's going to be so many moving parts here. I'm going to keep you as updated as I can up until the Denver Nuggets play, man. But look, dude, like this is going to be a fireworks show, y'all. Like a fireworks show. There are so many different options here available for so many different teams, man. And I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for some teams to get better. I'm actually really excited to see kind of what happens after, even though we know some of the players that are being favored and or being rumored at some of these spots, we still have no idea what's going to happen down the stretch, man. And so I'm super excited, y'all. Let me go ahead. I'm going to share this throughout the day and stuff as well. That way, everybody up here, you can keep track of kind of where the draft is headed. But y'all, so the NFL comparison for Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, they're saying is Patrick Mahomes. That's interesting. Man, the Titans are taking Cam Ward, y'all. So yeah, I don't even think this is much of a question. That's definitely going to happen. But it's just a matter of kind of what's going to happen after that, bro. But fit-wise, I mean, look, Tennessee's like they have a lot of stuff they have to work on. Like the Tennessee Titans roster, like it's not like crazy anywhere you look, honestly. Like even if you just kind of look at where their depth chart is right now. Let me go ahead and pull this up for y'all so y'all can see a little bit closer. Even if you look at their depth chart, Will Levis, Tony Pollard actually had a good year last year, but he couldn't do much about the situation he was in. Calvin really had a disappointing year. They traded a pick for him, and he's making good money, but didn't do a whole lot. Now, Tyler Lockett is there. Tyler Lockett, 4 1,000-yard receivers in his career. Treylon Burks. Again, Treylon was a former number one overall draft pick by the Titans as well. Tight end room is not crazy. Chikakongwo. And then you got Dan Moore, Peter, Corey Levin. Now, Kevin Zeitler is good, but J.C. Latham, not crazy. They got in their defense, Jeffrey Simmons, Draymond Jones is good. Cody Barton's had a good season. They got L'Jarius Sneed. That's really good. Xavier Woods. But again, they have a lot of holes across the board. And so I'm actually really curious to see how they're going to kind of fill this one out. All right, they're on the board. Draft tracker's up. Pick is in.
The Tennessee Titans select
Cameron Ward, number one overall pick, 2025 draft. I mean, honestly, I think it's a good pick. Like he's a really talented player. Like if you're looking for somebody that has like all the measurables, then this is the best way to go. So you're looking at his draft profile right now. Let's see, Cam Ward. 6'2", 30-inch arm, 9-inch hands, not the biggest hands in the world. 85 production score. Wow. The Jacksonville Jaguars jump up to 2. The Jags, second round pick.
The Jaguars returned it, the number 2 pick, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round pick. The Jaguars are on the clock.
The Jags get the number 2 and number 6. What kind of trade? Who are they taking? They're going to take Travis Hunter. Man, let me share this with y'all so y'all can look at the details. That's a massive trade. So the Browns and Jaguars have agreed to a blockbuster trade to give the Jacksonville Jaguars a number 2 overall pick, while Cleveland gets number 5 and a massive haul. to help now and in the future. Trade details: the Browns received the 5th overall pick, first round, 36 overall pick, second round, 126 overall pick, fourth round, the 2026 first round pick from the Jaguars, and the Jags received the 2nd overall pick, the 4th round pick from the Browns this year, and they received the 6th round pick. So they're going to take Travis Hunter. They're paying premium. Yeah, so Mel Kiper's convinced that it's going to be Travis Hunter. Woo-wee. That's interesting. So, yeah, Booger McFarland's making the point that I've talked about before a little bit, but Travis Hunter's going to play both sides in a slower league, like because the pace and space stuff is not going to be the same in the NFL. But I don't know how many snaps Travis is going to play, y'all, but again, you just look at their roster. I'll show y'all the depth chart real quick. So they got Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas Jr., who was a stud last year. Brian Thomas Jr. is really good. That's a really good pick they had last year. And then Diami Brown, Gabe Davis, Brenton Strange, Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland. Offensive line is whatever. It's nothing to write home about. But Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas, that's their best weapons they have on defense. They got Josh Allen, the pass rusher, and Eric Armstead. That's good. Trevon Walker as well. Devin Lloyd, Tyson Campbell, Darnell Savage, Jordan Lewis. Now, how they're gonna somebody just said in the chat they might take Jeanty. No, I mean maybe they do, but that's crazy. I feel like he would have been available at 5, but this goes to show you that Cleveland, they got crazy value for that 2nd overall pick, which I think was smart on their end. Travis Hunter is not going to add anything to their roster that's super substantial. But what if they don't? What is Abdul Carter? What if it's Abdul Carter? It's more likely not Abdul Carter. So this Adam Schefter says this is going to change the Cleveland Browns' approach to the quarterback position. They have 2 second-round picks now, and they have the 5th overall pick. Man, think about this, y'all. Travis Hunter going from Jackson State, winning the Heisman Trophy. I personally think, y'all, that like people are just, I think they're being a little like, Travis Hunter, I think, is going to be really good, y'all. Like, he's so talented on both sides of the ball. Look, and if you can turn the draft on, man, you can see the Jaguars front office is going crazy right now. You make a trade you believe in, y'all. Like, and that's a part of the draft, y'all. Like, if you believe in a guy, you go get him. It's really that simple. I mean, for my money, I think Travis Hunter is the best player in the draft. You know, he's 6 feet tall, 188 pounds. So he's compared to Devonta Smith, Darius Slay. So a mix between Devonta Smith and Darius Slay. Yeah. If you get that player, then yes. I'm like, yeah, that's insane. That's so. All right, draft is in.
While we are here tonight to celebrate the 32 young men entering the NFL, I'm honored to take a moment to recognize a player who's made a profound impact on and off the field. The Walter Payton.
Eric Armstead, Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Presented by Nationwide, recognizes one player each year who best represents greatness and compassion both on and off the field and in the community. Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
First off,
Duval. I do like that. They do that.
I want to say thank you to the commissioner. Thank you to the Payton family in the NFL and Nationwide. And also, tonight I want to encourage each player embarking on the NFL journey to identify a passion close to their heart and act upon it. Use your platform to make your community, the league, and this world a better place. As we remember, Walter Payton, strive to leave a positive
Yep.
legacy of your own.
Absolutely, CT. 10-time letterman in high school, 5A.
We have a trade.
What a crazy trade. Let me see if I can do this, y'all.
The Browns have traded the second pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. With the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select
Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter.
Two for the price of one. Strong on both sides of the ball, but making history is nothing new for this Heisman winner.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Georgia chose to play for Coach Prime at Jackson State, making him the first five-star recruit ever.
I like that. Travis Hunter's a great pick. That Travis is so cool, bro. Think about that, y'all. Going from Jackson State. Right here. Brian became a fantasy monster. Yep. Wow. Yeah, I love Travis's energy, man. I love Travis's energy. I'm so happy for him, man. Going from Jackson State, you win the Heisman. You play 700 snaps on both sides of the ball. You're a top 3 player. Your position on both sides of the ball. You deserve to be the second overall pick. Best player in the draft for my money. But now the Giants are up at 3, so that's Abdul Carter. Eric Armstead's cold too, bro. That's nasty, bro.
And he was catching the football and running routes. One, the ball never touched the ground. And two, he didn't have gloves on and you couldn't hear the ball hit his hands. Some of the most natural hand-eye coordination and ball tracking I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some great players. This guy truly is, as Darren likes to say.
Look, you ask me, Ken, I think he can. Like, I think he has the ability to do it. I mean, he's the thing is, Ken, I think you let him do it until he proves he can't do it. It's that simple. I think he's too good on both sides. He's too good with the ball. He's too good as a pass catcher. He's too good as a route runner. He's too good of a tackler, too good of a coverage corner. Cam Ward went first overall. And he's too good of a defender. Like, look at the defensive highlights, man. He literally drapes all over you. Play him out. You can play him boundary corner, field corner. You can play him at nickel. You can play him dime. Like, he'll get in there, he'll get physical, and he'll tackle.
seen in a long time. Can he realistically play full-time on both sides of the ball? You're not going to play him 120 again. You're not going to play him 120, 130 snaps a game for 17 games and expect him to last a decade or long. It's just not going to happen. You have to be judicious with it. I get it. It has to be a 60, 40, 75, 25, 70, 30 type of split. The question is, where do they use him first? Is it primarily offense or defense? Congrats for standing by. She's got the number 2 pick in the draft. Verizon Business takes us down to the stage. Molly.
Thank you, Greeny. Travis, Jacksonville traded up to get you. What's your reaction to how all of that unfolded?
I mean, they had told me he said the combine, so I'm super excited to be able to go back home and be able to play for an organization that.
I mean, everybody was hating on him. By the way, y'all, this is ginger beer, non-alcoholic ginger beer, spicy ginger beer. It's a Maine root. It's my favorite drink in the world. I love ginger beer.
Travis Hunter, a history maker, the first player in the draft era to be announced at both positions. Receiver.
He's the first player in the draft era to be announced at 2 different positions. Yo, this draft about to take forever. I'm hoping they get to the Broncos draft pick prior to the Clippers game and the Nuggets game coming on, but the way this is moving, you already know. Let me see.
Will Travis Hunter be the first ever to do it with shoulder pads? The last player to play consistency on both sides of the
Deion Sanders was the last player with 8+ starts on offense and defense in 1996. Yeah, Deion, Champ Bailey, Darrell Green, yep, played a few offensive downs with Hunter, and Ty Law too, at Ty Law and Tim Brown to that. But Hunter could be the first full-time two-way. I mean, two-way's tough, right? But definitely, like, he could be one that could play both sides of the ball. All right, Giants are up. Abdul Carter just sounds like the easiest bet right here, y'all. Yeah, Abdul Carter, New York Giants. I mean, honestly, who didn't see that coming? Yeah, who did not expect that one? 23 sacks for Abdul Carter in 3 years. He moved from inside linebacker to outside linebacker upon request last year, y'all. That's the thing you got to remember about Abdul Carter. Moved from inside to outside linebacker. Hey, that fits Cole, bro. I like that outfit. I'll tell you what, NFL players dress better than NBA players. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, that Giants front's dirty. Dexter Lawrence, Thibodeau, maybe if they keep him. Yeah, that defensive line now. So Raheem Nunez-Roches, Dexter Lawrence, Chauncey Goldston, Brian Burns. That's right. Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau and now Abdul Carter. Wow. That's a front, bro. Brian Burns and Bobby Okereke. That's right. Bobby Okereke's on that team, bro. Kayvon Thibodeau.
This guy can get off the rock. And here's the thing that impresses me the most about him. He flat out plays hard. When you talk about competitive character, For 60 minutes, this team was not the quarterback. He asked the Penn State coaches prior to the 20-foot season to put him at defensive end. He asked for the switch. They were wondering how he was going to handle when they put him in a 6 technique, right? Head up over the tight end when tackles started coming down on him and double teaming him, whether or not he was going to be able to withstand it and come back again and again and again. He continues to get better at it. But I'll tell you this, when they sit down, he's got speed to tower, he's got high side speed, he's got an inside spin, he's got it all. Incredible play.
He wears the same uniform number that Micah Parsons did when he followed in those footsteps as far as effectiveness in the NFL. Horizon Business takes us down to Molly, who was standing by for the third pick of the draft. Molly.
Thank you, Greedy. Abdul, your dad trained you your entire childhood. What was that moment like after your name was called with your dad and the rest of your family?
Yeah, it was surreal. I wouldn't be here without him. I'm just blessed. Thankful for my family. Thankful for everybody who helped me get to this moment. I can't wait to celebrate this moment with my family.
You grew up in Philly. You grew up an Eagles fan. How are you going to bring the Giants back to dominance in the NFC East?
Yeah, I'm all New York. New York getting everything from me. All the passion I have, all the love that I have, all the excitement. On Thursday, I didn't get loud. I'm going to get that big play, make my best pass up, make that big explosive play.
All right, congratulations, Abdul.
Thank you.
Greedy.
Hi, Molly. Thank you. Abdul Carter is the third defensive player selected in the top 3.
Yeah, that's nice. Yep, that's that's another line too. That was really good.
So Travis Hunter is off the board. How about his teammate?
Yo, Shador, man. If I'm the Saints at 9, there's no way Shador Sanders is not getting drafted right there for me. Yeah, I'm easy taking Shador Sanders. That's not even a question. All right, so let's look at the draft tracker. Let's see.
All season long.
Wait, what?
All right, y'all. I'm going to share the screen with you a little bit so you can just see the best available players that are remaining so far on the draft, which is obviously everybody basically. Zoom in on this for y'all. So how is the rest of the draft going to look is the question. Now, the Broncos reportedly are still trying to trade up in the draft. Now, that's what I'm actually really curious to see. How are the Broncos going to fill the rest of us out? Because Ashton Jeanty, I think it's the best player on. I mean, I think he's going to be a star. Jaylen Walker is also really good. Mason Graham, very good. Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. I'm split depending on what you need. Like Tyler reminds me more of like an H-back style kind of tight end. He can kind of do it all. But Colston Loveland, like he's a true pass catching dog. Mimbo is good. Will Johnson, really good corner. My boy D-Mac really specified said it best, boundary corner. Baron, another really good corner. Michael Williams, really good pass rusher. That feels like a 49ers kind of move. Tet, receiver. I'm thinking maybe the Panthers. The Panthers, I think, are at 7 right now, or 8. They're at 8. I think the Panthers, that's a way to look at Tet. Jeanty, for me, right here with the Raiders. I actually don't know who the Browns end up taking right here. I mean, but if you ask me for my money, I mean, I don't know. But I feel like people are overthinking Shador Sanders, y'all. I really do. I think Shador Sanders is a pure pocket passer with mobility. And how many players, how many quarterbacks can you find in the draft that are really good, really good pocket passers? Really good pocket passers, but they have good mobility as well. But man, like, I just don't get it. Like I brought this up earlier, but in 2008 was the Sam Bradford draft. Shador, like it's basically what it was, like just super accurate. But Sam Bradford had an elite offensive line. Shador has a horrible offensive line. it was a lot of scramble and like he had to find ways to make plays, and he did. And he's being slighted for not being like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen level mobility, but he's still a mobile pocket quarterback. I don't understand like the downside of that. And then to the point, like Nick Wright said on First Things First, Shedeur Sanders gets 9 games at home in New Orleans if New Orleans takes him. 9 indoor turf games at home with a super accurate quarterback, bro. That's money. Travis Hunter to the Jaguars is nuts. Yeah, but I'm saying they got Brian Thomas Jr., so BTJ and him and ETN. But Trevor Lawrence is the problem. Trevor Lawrence has to play better. Like, that's what it comes down to. If he doesn't play better, none of that matters. Like, he legit has to put, like, real film out and perform. With the 4th pick. Yeah, Will Campbell to the Patriots. I love that for them. Give Drake May all the protection you can. That's a great pick. Will Campbell is a great pick. Like, that's what, you know, honestly, like, that's cool. Like, you make sure you build up your offensive line.
He has the balance to recover. If you beat him on the outside, people turn and come back on the inside. His recovery is some of the best that you see at the left tackle position. Footwork is tremendous. Have the ability to mirror up and stay concentrated.
My bad. Let me share the screen with y'all.
But I think what anybody needs to know what they're getting an alpha in the room, a leader. If you're Mike Vrabel, you're coming in there and you're bringing your folks in there.
Yeah, gotta live up to the hype. Sure did. Yeah, that was that who was that? That was Shazier, right? That was Shazier for the Texans. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. But this is it. Yeah, he has to live up to the hype. Trevor Lawrence can't keep being like that. I think the most touchdowns he thrown in a year is 25. Like, come on. Everybody makes a big deal about arm length, but I think he's going to be perfectly fine. By the way, y'all, turn off your Twitter notification for the draft, man. They try to spoil the draft for people, bro. Watch out. Like, why everybody got to be first to deliver but maybe they're there. That's a part of it. Maybe they're actually there, which is probably what it is. They're there. So they're giving us like real life updates and TVs behind to make sure there's no like, you know, issues just for security reasons. The TV has to lag behind. Yeah, I don't want to see no spoilers. Yeah, Will Campbell is nice. So you get first 4 picks off the board: Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell. Basically, what you thought it would be. I feel like the top 3 have been determined for months. Cam Ward, Travis, and Abdul. They were coming off the board for months. It felt like that was going to be the case. Got 576 people in here, 580 people in here so far, growing every minute. Shout out to y'all. Wanted to do this before the Nuggets got a chance to play tonight. I want to know what the Broncos are going to do. I know they're trying to draft in the top 10. It's 8:41 Eastern Standard Time, and we're on the 5th pick in the draft. Ugh. Yeah, Mike Greenberg said all the players that have been drafted so far, all the players we expected to hear about. That's true.
Abdul, you're just the second ever LSU O-lineman to be picked in the first round. I can see that you're emotional here. How meaningful is it for you to represent this program in the state of Louisiana?
Means everything.
Let me see.
So much for me and my family, and for me to be able to represent them. The right
Man, Will Campbell sound like he from Louisiana. Goodness gracious.
I know you spent a lot of time with Patriots staff and head coach Mike Vrabel. What do you like about the
Let me see. I'll share the screen with y'all.
That logo speaks for itself. But you know, Coach Vrabel is a guy who I want to play for. He's a football guy, no BS. And I've loved everything that everybody in that building's about since the first time I stepped in there. So it's a complete honor to be able to have this hat on right now.
For one thing's for sure, quarterback Drake made.
And for me to be able to represent them the right way, I'll never be able to repay them for what they did for me.
I know you spent a lot of time with Patriots staff and head coach Mike Vrabel. What do you like about the culture that he's building there in New England?
That logo speaks for itself. But, you know, Coach Vrabel is a guy who I want to play for. He's a football guy, no BS. And I've loved everything that everybody in that building's about since the first time I stepped in there.
John Hamm, the Patriots have only ever drafted a top 10 offensive lineman one time.
One thing's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the
Drake May
D tackle's
has to
going
be
here, y'all.
happy about this selection. Congratulations, Will.
Thank you. I appreciate
I think
it.
Cleveland takes the D tackle coming up
You can hear the
next.
awe in his voice. What a wonderful
Yep,
moment.
if Jeanty
Reminder
passes the Raiders,
that this night
which
is not just about the
I would be
analysis, but
shocked
it's about the opportunity.
unless they wouldn't
for
got
these young
Ted
men.
for
By the
Geno
way,
or
the older
something.
football fans in our audience will appreciate this. Mel, the Patriots have drafted a top 10 offensive lineman only once in the common draft era. It was John Hanna, who was 4th overall in 1973 and may very well be the greatest guard that ever played.
No doubt about it. They are hoping
The
that
Cleveland
obviously
Browns
will
get Mason
be
Graham.
he can be.
My boy with a regular suit on, too. No flash. No flash. Just a regular suit.
They hope he can become.
All right, we're at number 5. Again,
No
this is the
collar,
Cleveland
no
Browns. They
tie.
traded back. Originally had the second pick, moved back here to 5.
Some
and here comes the
big,
commissioner
big
to announce
shoes
the
on.
selection.
My boy just said, I'm ready to ball,
With the
dog.
fifth
I like
pick
that.
In the 2025 NFL
No
Draft.
flash, no nothing. I'm
the
here to
Cleveland
go.
Browns select
Let's get to work. I'll put
Mason
my
Graham.
hand in the dirt. He's a good player.
defensive tackle, Michigan.
So after all of the speculation
Yeah, Mason
about
Graham's
all
a
of the
good player.
surprises we may get outside of the trades, these have been the players we were expecting. Mason Graham is a 2-time All-American from Los Angeles. He was the defensive MVP of the Rose Bowl the year the Wolverines won the national title. Was a star wrestler in high school as well.
Yeah, Mason
Jim
Graham,
Harbaugh
draft
was a gift
profile.
from the football god.
6'3" and a
When he
half,
brought into Ann Arbor,
296,
and now
32
Graham
inch
lived
arms,
up to the
9 and
Everybody
1/8
said
inch
Graham was
hands.
dropping. And there was even Walter Nolen could maybe go ahead of him, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss.
His
Mason
NFL
Graham,
comp is
third
Christian
on my big
Wilkins. I
board.
like that.
Cleveland made
He's a
that
good
deal,
player
kind
with the
of threw it out of
Dolphins.
whack a little bit.
He's a
Little bit of
3 technique who
curveball
provides
with Mason
activity,
Graham.
effort,
Not
strength,
only
and
that,
quickness.
Gray
Grand first
Zable
step
back
quickness
there,
makes him
other neat areas,
interior
but defensive tackle
disruption
was one of
inevitable.
those. Mason
He
Graham,
has the instant
heavyweight
read and
wrestling
response to
champion.
regularly
You can see that
beat lateral
vertical
blocks.
leverage.
Stout point of
No man
attack,
wins in
great
the
leverage
NFL.
and body control.
Versatility, the violent
Plays with
active
nonstop
hands,
motor. Yeah, it's a great pick.
reactability, diagnostic
It's
ability.
the expected pick,
Stats
honestly.
were not off the charts, but if you watched him, he was disruptive. folks.
Aggressive
He
player,
made an
too.
impact game in and
When
game
you get a
out.
3 technique this high, you want them to be
The ability
aggressive,
to
and they got to force the
impact
issue, and you love
football
that.
game Where quarterbacks hate it the most, up the gut.
When you play that position, Greeny, inside, you better have a
And then
couple of
especially
things. You gotta
Cleveland,
have a
man,
quick
like,
first step.
You got to
better
play
use
against
your hands
Baltimore.
well.
You got to
gotta
play
have
against the
great balance. He
Steelers.
has
You got to
all
play
three of
against
those things.
Cincinnati.
He
You
can
need
make
as
tackles
many
from tackle to
pass
tackle
rushers as
and
possible.
even
And you need as
outside
many
the
run
tackle. I
stoppers
love
versus
his
the
motor. I
Ravens,
love
especially
his
if possible.
disruptiveness and his ability to use his hands.
So
You
that's
have
great.
to have strong hands to control the center, to
Myles
control the guard,
Garrett,
to get those guys
Mason
off.
Graham.
People think that nose tackles and 3 techniques can't make plays. He is a disruptor, a playmaker. Here's the thing I want to see. Can he continue to get better as a pass rusher? Can his pass rush arsenal continue to get better? Because right now, it's not up to par with what we've
I
seen
actually like
in the
that
likes
pick.
of Brady Jarrett or Aaron
Myles
Donald.
Garrett,
Those
get some more help.
impact
Let's
Chris
see.
Jones, those
Browns,
impact 3
depth
techniques.
chart.
He's got to get better
Rest of
as
their
a pass
defense.
rusher.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I struggled with when evaluating.
Myles
was,
Garrett, Malik
there's no
Collins,
question
and
he's a great
Shelby
player. We
Harris,
talked to
Mason
people
Graham
in
now,
Michigan. They
Isaiah
love all the
McGuire,
things that
Jeremiah
coaches talk about,
Owusu
specifically
Koromora,
his motor. They love him when he's on the move.
Jordan
when you're
Hicks,
running games and stunts. and he's the
Diabate,
looper.
Denzel
And
Ward,
he's a
Grant
guy who
Delpit,
can kind of like
Emerson
get
Jr.,
on some
Greg
edges,
Newsome.
get some angles. Look, he'll be working with one of the best fast
Pretty
rushers
solid
in the
defense.
NFL, Myles
Deshaun
Garrett.
Watson's still their starting
Can he
quarterback,
produce?
though. I
Let's look
don't care what they're
Let's
talking
go to the
about.
stage.
I
Verizon
expect them that if
Business and
Shador
Molly
Sanders is
Grab.
sliding,
Thank
they need to trade back in. And I'm looking at 20
You
with the
are a
Broncos
tone
too
setter
as well.
for
They need to
Michigan's
trade back in and get
defense. What
Shador.
kind of attitude and toughness are you
Jerome
bringing to
Ford is their
Cleveland?
starting running back.
I mean, just fierce competitor.
Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Woods,
to the top,
David
and
Njoku's
win a
good.
Super Bowl. So that's my one mission coming.
They got
in, and that's what I'm gonna
Antonio,
do.
Wyatt Teller, and
A
Jack
Michigan
Conklin.
man is going to the
offensive
state
line's
of
okay.
Ohio.
I think
How are
2 or
you
3
going
of
to
their
make
5
amends
positions
with
were
those
good.
fans after what you did to the Buckeyes the last 3 years?
I'm sure we'll get along pretty well coming here pretty soon.
All right. Good
Yep.
luck. Thank you. Congrats.
Draft has become it's its own show.
That's exactly right. Heading into what would have been considered
Yeah, I mean,
enemy territory.
That's what I would do. I mean,
previously,
again, like
but
if I'm the
now
Saints, like
the
what are
new
you
favorite
thinking?
son of the
Why would you
Cleveland
let
Browns,
a
Mason
quarterback
Graham,
prospect
outstanding
that
player.
fits
So now the Vegas
your
Raiders
building and
are
your
on the clock,
team?
and what a
Why would you let
fascinating
him
decision
slide?
They have ahead of them here. Early in this process, Mel, we were talking about Shedeur Sanders here. He has a long history with Tom Brady. That conversation has pretty much died away completely. That was part of the early discussion.
Man, I don't want Jeanty to go here, bro.
Carroll, you see him there in the draft room as the Raiders make their decision at number 6.
What about Geno Smith now, right? Pete Carroll are tied together. Pete made Geno great.
I don't
right?
want
That's
Jeanty to go to the Raiders, man. But maybe I'm not super high on the Raiders, so maybe that's just me. It's a good pick for the Raiders, but
to help him out,
whatever.
what does Pete Carroll want to do? Run the football. He had Marshawn Lynch. They drafted Rashad Penny. Didn't work out, but they still took him in round 1. You look at a guy like Ashton Jeanty, what he can mean to this football team. I've been 4th overall on the big board. My philosophy is not my ranking. On value, on ability, he's the 4th best player in this draft. He deserves to be a pick this high based on that.
Raiders pick is up.
Running back Ashton Jeanty over Armand Membo, the offensive tackle from Missouri.
Yeah, look, this is a football team that didn't have a rusher go over 500 yards last year. You just can't have that in the NFL. So you would think
Damn.
that
Ashton
Carroll,
Jeanty to the
considering
Raiders.
where he came from, what his philosophy is, he'd be sitting there going, how do we not take the guy?
Boo.
It's a team that has a lot of holes.
Now Ashton
and,
Jeanty
one
going
might
to the Raiders
think
to
that
waste
taking a running back
away.
is a bit of a luxury
Well,
for a team with as many needs as this team has. We're going to find out right now. I see the commissioner making his way towards the microphone. Here come the Raiders at 6.
With the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State.
Well, we'll go over the numbers one more time. What a season he had. 2,600 rushing yards.
Man, I mean, respectfully, like,
Unanimous
I think
all
Ashton's going to be
market
really
on
good,
the
man, but I
Max
don't like that. I don't like that
Finished
Raiders
runner-up for
fit.
the Heisman.
He's a good need for them,
Fascinating
but
story. His dad was a naval officer, so he played his first year of high school football in Naples, Italy, and was a quarterback. Ultimately wound up in Frisco, Texas, then to Boise for college, and now he is a Las
He was
Vegas
a
Raider.
spectacular all-around running back. He was a workhorse. He only had one game where he had 30-plus carries in 2023. This past year, he had 8 games of 30 or more carries. He can be that workhorse running back for Geno Smith and for that Raider offense.
But here-
contact balance, game-breaking ability.
y'all, I'm telling y'all, that's the
Right?
thing about this
Catch the
draft. There's
football. He had
so
43 catches in
many
2023.
players
Now,
available.
750 career
Again,
carries,
Omarion
a lot,
Hampton.
right?
And now
Also,
I'm curious
he's a little
about
loose with
the
football.
Cowboys at
High and
12.
tight, right? He's got to learn
Omarion
that.
Hampton,
5 fumbles in 2023.
Travion
3 fumbles in
Henderson.
2024. That's 8 fumbles over the last
Like, those
couple
are the
years.
running backs that
Penn
I
State
think
game,
are
he had a
like
fumble loss, also had another
the two
fumble in
highest,
that
the ones
game.
I'm highest
In
on
terms of a
outside of
guy
Jeanty.
who can impact the game,
Judkins
running,
is also
catching, and
still
guess
really
what?
good.
No block. Is that last
But
line
honestly,
of
because the
protection
first
for
round is
Geno
the way it
Smith.
is, man,
Ashton
there could
will
be a
get the
chance
job
for
done.
there's a bunch of
He
running
can
backs
find
flying
those
off the board.
blockers. Hey, defenders, players can't even
Teams, you
locate
realize,
him.
especially
And
with
then
how the
he's
Eagles
gone
are playing,
with the
though,
contact balance,
teams
the
need
game-breaking
skill.
speed. Hey, I'm against running backs in the first round, but on ability, like I said, 4th best player in the draft.
I mean,
And
Geno
Pete Carroll
Smith,
wants to run the ball
Ashton
and take some
Jeanty.
of that pressure off of Geno Smith.
I love it. You finally come
Hey,
around.
honestly,
to
by
running
the
back.
end of
That's
this
all
year,
I'll meet you halfway on the
man, they might have
I
the
love
best
it.
tight end
It's a
in the
few
sport.
things that the
I
running
mean, I'll
back
still
have to
take
have in
George
that
Kittle,
football
but
league. Can you make a guy miss in the hole? He can do that. From a contact balance standpoint, when you get hit,
Raiders depth chart ain't bad.
absorb the first hit and then
Geno Smith,
continue on.
right now they have
The
Raheem
third
Mostert,
thing,
so Ashton
can you take
Jeanty
it to the
starting
house?
there.
He does all
They
three
got
of those
Jacoby
things well.
Myers,
That's
Trey
why he'll be
Tucker,
successful NFL running
Kyle
back.
Phillips. They got
Danny, I
Brock
had the privilege of
Bowers,
seeing this young man
Colton
up close-
Miller,
up close and personal
Dylan
at the
Parham,
Fiesta Bowl
Jackson
this
Powers
year, and I
Johnson,
said,
Alice
when we were
Kappa,
preparing for that game,
and then
this
DJ
is Emmitt
Glaze,
Smith.
Max
This is Emmitt
Crosby,
Smith
Christian
with home
Wilkins,
run, breakaway
Malulu,
speed, the vision and the elusiveness. He's built like a
Malulu,
bodybuilder, like a power lifter,
Kuntz,
but he's got the jump
Devin
cut
White,
ability to get that ball out on
Jeremy
the perimeter. And then you
Chin.
just see the lower body power.
We'll see how they
as
develop
he's
in the
weaving
draft,
his
man.
way
But Geno
through
Smith,
traffic with like that next level
Ashton
vision.
Jeanty,
He's going to
Brock
rip
Bowers,
off
it's a good
plus
start.
20, 30, 40-yard runs on the regular. Emmitt Smith, he did this on the regular at the NFL level. What was Emmitt's
Yeah, I seen that Emmitt Smith
superpower?
comp a lot.
It was the vision. It was the lower body balance. the ability to see things that other people simply couldn't see. And he didn't have the kind of speed, the kind of breakaway speed that Ashton Jeanty has. And when you talk about contact, balance, and burst, and the ability to get yardage after initial contact, nobody does it better than this guy. Nobody. And then look at him.
That Broncos trade up.
It's easy.
Music is going to go
acceleration.
crazy, but I mean, they must really like
how does this guy have
only
that
trade
kind
up
of
I can see them
stride
doing is like
be able
10
to
or
run
something like that.
Emmitt Smith, same way. If you didn't get a good hit on him, if you didn't wrap him up, he was going to the house on you. Now here on this run in particular, he's able to take it the distance. Hey, look, I don't think this is a wild comparison by any means. This is a great player to make great this guy.
It's as good a comparison as you could ever possibly ask for. Verizon Business. Back to the stage, Molly.
Thanks, Greeny. Ashton, you told me that at 10 years old, you knew you were born to play this game. Standing up here now, an NFL running back, top 6 pick. What would you say to your 10-year-old self?
Highest selected Boise State player ever.
God and your abilities and
Oh yeah, Van Der Esch. I forgot about
your
him.
goals and dreams are accomplishable.
Went to Lone Star High
Raiders'
School.
New head coach Pete Carroll loves to build a team around running the football. He used to coach one of your favorites in Marshawn Lynch. How will you bring beast mode to Vegas?
Yeah, I think just that same energy, that attitude he comes with, that nobody can tackle them on the football field.
I mean, not a bad start to the draft. Still a lot of talent left on the board, y'all. Let me see. Update this. Best available. Best available, Jaylen Walker. I mean, honestly, like Panthers, Jets, all of them could use a pass rusher like this. Yeah, that Harold Landry is not my favorite player in the world, but Tyler Loren. Yeah, so we got the Jets, Panthers, Saints, and Bears next. Oh, man. Maybe the Jets. I think Tyler Warren's probably the next back to go. Get Justin Fields another weapon. That's kind of tough, though, bro. See, Jets, depth chart. Yeah, Justin Fields, Breece Hall is currently like a potential trade option. Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, Tyler Johnson. Yeah, Jeremy Ruckert. Ugh. Offensive line, a core 4. Vera Tucker's good. Olu's okay. Their defense isn't crazy. But this is what I'm saying about pass rush. Jermaine Johnson, I think he's a decent player. Quentin Williams is good. Derek Nandi is good. Will McDonald. I mean, honestly, like, Jaylen Walker wouldn't be bad here. Now, this is I think 4-3 defense. So Zaire Barnes, Quincy Williams is good. Jamie and Sherwood, Sauce Gardner, Tony Adams, Michael Carter, Cisco. Who do y'all think they should take here? I think it should be. I think Abdul Carter would be fine here, but again, like they play a 4-3. I think he's definitely more of an edge rusher. Tyler Warren, they have no tight end depth whatsoever. Mike makes sense. They want to load up the offensive line, though. Armand would be a good pick right here. They want to get an additional corner. Will Johnson would be a good pick. Baron, Mikael Williams, maybe. Or they can go Tet. All right, y'all. Drafts back on.
Welcome back to the 2025 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
Told you. Armand Membu.
Back in Green Bay, where these
New
teams
York
have
Jets.
been very economical with their use of time. The picks have been coming in quickly. The New York
Great
Jets pick is in with their new brain trust.
Second
their
best
new head
lineman,
coach,
second best tackle in
Aaron
the
Glenn. A
draft.
lot of needs for this team. Let's see which direction they go. The 7th pick of the draft is in, and here comes the commissioner to make the announcement.
The second best tackle in the draft, 4 to 5 for Justin Fields. I like it.
The New York Jets select Armand Membu.
Yeah, but if you can't block nobody, it don't matter. I told you. I literally just said y'all, like, their offensive line is mid. But now I think at 4 spots, they'll be good now.
Right tackle. He is from just outside Kansas City.
In this league, you got to be able to, you have to be able to pass protect and run the ball.
30 games
especially with the amount of athletes people have on the defensive line now.
And Mel, his performance at the combine is what really vaulted him up this process.
No question, he proved he could be a right tackle, not a guard. Now, I think it's a tough call for the Jets because Tyler Warren would have made a lot of sense. Tight end out of Penn State, but like Armand Mumbo's plug and play right tackle.
Panthers pick is already into
a Pro Bowl right tackle.
Mel Kiper said his best available left is Shedeur Sanders.
Years at right tackle, powerful hand, get to the second level as a run blocker could improve.
Yeah, he ran a 4.9, Alex.
The kick out, the footwork overall, powerful punch, the way anchored, the hand.
Look how big he is.
Was excellent. Like I said, once he showed he had the length and he had the ability physically, athletically to be a right tackle, not have to kick inside the guard. That's what solidified Armand Membu as a top 10 pick, Lou.
Yeah, I mean, he's a plug and play.
Armand Membu.
Last year's first round pick, Olafacino stays at left tackle now.
Zach Tom is his NFL comparison. Impeccable body control and poise. Keeps weight inside on kick slide and easy redirect versus counters.
This year. Some of this, it was hard to find things not to like about a guy as big as he is, 330 plus, sub 5 seconds in the 40. Incredible prospect.
He's the 4th offensive lineman the Jets have drafted in the first round since 2020, which is the most of any team in the NFL. And over the years,
and the Jets do not have a great history with draft picks. Goodness gracious.
Their picks have become the stuff of draft day legends.
Zach Wilson, Mark Sanchez.
The Jets' second round selection, Marion Barber. Johnny Mitchell, tight end, Nebraska.
Yeah, the Jets, man. I hope this is better. This is a better year for Jets fans. I hope.
Fans are letting it know which way they want to go.
Kyle Grady. Mark Sanchez.
Oh my gosh, so many commercial breaks, man. They got to sell everything.
Zach Wilson, quarterback. BYU.
So many commercial breaks. My gosh. All right, y'all. So best available left, like I said, Jaylen Walker, Tyler Warren, Colston, Will Johnson. Panthers are up. Panthers take if they want to replace Brian Burns, Jaylen Walker. Tyler Warren would not be bad here. Colston, Loveland wouldn't be horrible here. I'm saying I think I might lean Tet. I think Tet might be the answer here for the Panthers. Yeah, I mean, could Xavier Legette? Yeah, it's not great over there. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard. I think he just signed an extension too. He's a good player. Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, Tommy Tremble. I mean, you want Tyler Warren or Tommy Tremble, or do you want Tet, X, and Adam? Ekwonu, Damian Lewis, Austin Corbett, Robert Hunt, Taylor Moton. With their defensive line isn't crazy. Remember Derek Brown, I think they drafted him 5 overall a few years ago. Bobby Brown, Wharton, Wonum, Roseboom, Josie Jewell, former Bronco, Jadeveon Clowney, Michael Jackson, Morrig, Nick Scott, J.C. Horn, really good corner, Chau Smith Wade. Yeah. Well, I think has Mel Kiper ever picked the first round and he didn't hype it a future Hall of Famer? Yes. I just like that fact that he brings so much energy. And what I do like about Mel is he's so positive about the player. I think that means a big difference just kind of for the player. And, because this is their moment. They're never going to have another moment like this. And so I think that he speaks so emphatically and positively about the things they do well. I think that just makes it a better overall user experience for the audience, but also for the player, and for their families and stuff as well. Unless it's character issues, something you just have to bring up some stuff like Carter, for instance, a couple years ago with the Eagles or something like that. Get some ginger beer, y'all. Maine root ginger beer. All right, y'all. Draft back on.
I must be respected.
I know everybody, all the Broncos fans mad about Jeanty. I get it.
Rejected.
Yeah, Shador, Warren, Walker, Johnson, Colston, Loveland. There's so many talented players left.
Back in Green Bay, Mel, let's look at your best available players, brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Not yet had any major reach screening in terms of the first 7 picks in this draft. Who's still available? Shador Sanders, quarterback.
Man, standing room only outside of the draft. Man, I ain't going out there.
Brock Bowers. Now they pass on Tyler Warren to take Armand.
I think it's good. I think he's a good two-way player for them.
The Bears coming up. Jaylen Walker.
All right, 846 people in here, y'all. We can get up to 1,000.
Linebacker Will Johnson, a little banged up.
Panthers pick is in.
100%, so he dropped a little bit, but a heck of a flyer. 9 career interceptions, 3 career pick sixes as well for Will Johnson.
Tetairoa McMillan told y'all. Hey, we on a roll, y'all. What are we? Hey, we four in a row. I think what we got. We didn't got 4 in a row correctly. Yeah, that's a great pick. Bryce Young with Tet. Love it.
To number 2 with the Browns. The 8th pick is in the
Love
Carolina
it.
Panthers, and here's the commissioner.
I love it. That's a
With the
great
8th
pick for Bryce Young.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona.
So that one isn't what we expected. Outstanding player. They call him T-Mac. He was born in Hawaii. Went to Arizona as the highest-rated recruit in the history of that school. Mel, his last 2
Yeah, everybody
seasons,
keep pinging up Mike Evans. I feel like Drake
for
London is better.
Over 2,700 yards and 18 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had drawn comparisons to Mike
Yeah,
Evans
man.
over the last
Let me
couple
see.
weeks.
Draft profile.
Jacksonville, right, with Liam Cohen would go that direction.
Tet 6'4", 1'8", 219. That's a big boy.
Where we are with Tetairoa McMillan. He's 19 right now on my big board. So he is a reach. I thought Matt
Tet's his NFL comp, Drake London.
Taken, but hey,
powerful
the ability
receiver
to
off the
make
line.
The contested catch is his forte. That's why
Great.
Drake London was a comp, and certainly
Great
Mike
catch
Evans
ability.
would stretch it to Evans. I would not do that. I think when you look at Tetairoa McMillan, doing it against college cornerbacks, not being able to get great
Saints pick is already in. This
separation
better be
is the reason
Shador.
why I thought his top dropped a bit. We've all talked
Yeah,
about
Tet look
he
good,
loves
bro. I
volleyball,
think he can be
right?
good.
Okay, hey, you got to be an athlete to play volleyball. Loves the sport. The NFL, you got to love
Yeah,
it.
Adam Thielen,
Against
Xavier
great
Legette,
corners in the NFL.
Tetairoa.
His production over a 3-year period was consistent. Noah Fafita came
Tetairoa
on at
McMillan.
quarterback,
I
really
think
helped
that's
his
gonna be a good
cause
player,
with
man.
84 catches this past year. Speaks volume. The kind of ability he had. 8 went
Yeah,
for
people say he's
touchdowns.
mostly a
The
lateral
catch radius,
player,
the
but
lane,
honestly, I really don't care.
contested situations go his way. And the NFL guys, will there be enough separation? Can he get it done, Lou, against NFL cornerbacks like
Why Manolo, Hawaii?
And I love this pick for Bryce Young because you give him a bigger body to throw the football. Currently, he was throwing Xavier Legette and Adam Thielen. So now you're giving him a bigger body, bigger catch radius. He doesn't have to be as accurate. But when you talk about the contested catches on the college level,
Man, we are.
you can't
This
get
is
open
a
in college.
full
How you
Gen
gonna
Z
get open in the
draft.
NFL? Like, that's my biggest concern for him. I get the body control. I get how pretty
Man,
he looks. I
congratulations.
get the contested catches.
Oh, he gave.
But can
Oh,
he
that's
get
cool.
open in the NFL? Drake London is a fair comparison. He didn't take off in the
That's
NFL
amazing.
in Atlanta until they moved him inside in the slot and allowed him to get some free releases. So will they have to move T-Mac inside, or can he get open on the outside?
Well, which is where he played plenty at Arizona. He played in the slot quite often in Arizona. And Jet Fitch, who coached him down there before he left to go to Washington, did some really nice things with him as far as getting him on linebackers, getting him on safety, where he could use some of that subtle.
Oh, him and Mason Graham played high school together.
And his catch radius is something Bryce Young's going to absolutely need. And you're right. If you see him here hugging the commish, all these guys, you can just see like the release.
He's the
that they
first
have.
Arizona
They are
receiver
hugging.
ever selected in the
That's gonna
first
happen in
round.
his career in
Wow.
Carolina. He just needs to make sure he takes care of business.
A very nice moment there as he placed the lay on the commissioner there. Tetairoa McMillan was a very proud winner
Hey,
of
look,
the
we
Polynesian
4 for
Player
4.
of the Year
So
awards, both in high
we
school
actually
and
we've
in
gotten
college.
every
So
pick
that's a
right
lovely moment there.
so
By the way, he
far.
was a high
But
school
the first
teammate
3
of
were just
Mason
whatever.
Graham, who was
But we're
drafted
5 for
earlier
5 now.
tonight.
We picked
And
5.
our
We have
teammate Teddy
predicted
Bruschi
5
is
straight
celebrating
draft picks,
as
y'all.
Tetairoa McMillan is the first.
Saints. I'm putting my money on it.
First
It
Arizona
should
wide
be
receiver
Shador
ever
Sanders.
selected in the first round.
I'm saying should be Shador Sanders for the
interesting move
Saints.
here by a Carolina team. This was the first thing we've seen that had not been forecast pretty much anywhere that I'd looked.
Well, because we thought Carolina was going to go defense. But I get the fact, Greeny, they're trying to help the young quarterback. That seems to be the new thing. Do you fortify the defense and keep the points down, or do you try to evaluate the young quarterback by getting him some weapons?
Jaylen Walker, Tyler Warren, Colston, Loveland.
At the end of last season, we started to see promise.
A lot of
And so
talent on
for
the
Carolina,
roster.
Why not help the young quarterback to see if
The
you can
Cowboys
continue
going to
this
mess
climb
up this
that he's
draft,
made
though.
toward
They're
the
going
end
to
of
take
last
Omarion,
season.
aren't they?
Nice to some. In the meantime, Verizon Business brings us back to the stage, and Molly is with Tetairoa McMillan. Molly.
Tetairoa, I know that you're wearing a lei that your grandmother made, and there is a rich history of Hawaiian-born players in the NFL. How special is it to join that brotherhood?
They're going to take
man,
Jaylen
it's a
Walker out
blessing.
there.
You know, at the end of the day, the people that came before me is the people that laid the foundation and set the precedents for me to be successful today. So, sure, at the end of the day, you know, I'm trying to put on for the Polynesian culture and, you know, make everybody proud.
You were a big play receiver in college. What kind of impact can you make on this Panthers offense right away?
Man, I'm ready to do whatever it takes.
The Saints ain't drafted
they
haven't drafted a first-round quarterback since
coaching staff that
1971 in
believes in
Archie
me
Manning.
Teammates that are ready to play for me, and I'm ready to play for them. So
That's insane.
I mean, sky's the limit for this organization, man. I can't wait.
The hat looks good on you. Congratulations.
All right, thank you so much.
Greeny.
All right, Molly, thank you very much. The New Orleans Saints now on the clock, and as you can see, they are.
How do you not take Shador? They have to take Shador.
In the NFL since drafting a quarterback.
It makes too much sense to get Shador.
Shador.
Why wait?
Quarterback the New Orleans Saints ever selected in the first round. Parenthetically, Troy Aikman is the only first-round quarterback the Dallas Cowboys ever took. Mel, you have been forecasting for quite some time Shador Sanders in this spot.
Just love the fit. I go back to Drew Brees. I see similarities to Drew coming out. Arm strength question, similar size, right? He was going to go to Miami.
With the
Didn't,
ninth pick
shoulder,
overall
right?
in the
He was
draft.
up in New Orleans, wins a Super Bowl, right? You think about where we are right now with Shador Sanders in this pick. I remember a few years back when the Saints traded up in the first round.
Kelvin
It was going to be Lamar
Banks.
Jackson. It was Marcus Davenport.
Kelvin
San
Banks.
Antonio. The division,
Bruh, how
the two
are-
former number one pick overalls, and Baker and Bryce, in addition to Michael Penix Jr. I'm the Saints. I'm taking Shador Sanders.
Let's find out if that's what they've done. Here's the commissioner to announce the pick for New Orleans.
With the ninth pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle, Texas.
Kelvin Banks is a really good player, y'all, but come
He was
on.
a unanimous All-American as a junior last year. He won the Outland Trophy. He won the Lombardi Award. He was a starter as a true freshman coming out of Houston. He started all 42 games he played. And Mel, he was a huge part of the resurrection of Longhorns football under Steve Sarkisian.
This is what I'm saying about like people just having like they have their belief system about like what they think is valuable and like, you know, certain players aren't going to thrive. This is the same thing that happened to Lamar Jackson in 2018, where everybody said he wasn't going to be able to process correctly. He didn't have that great of an arm. He wouldn't figure out NFL offense. He needed this A, B, C, D, and E. And the next thing you know, he got a year to develop with Joe Flacco, played sparingly, and then the next year he won the
Could not
MVP.
rave about this young man more in terms of his
Like, these players are too
competitiveness, how good of a
talented.
teammate he is. He's a guy who overcomes adversity.
Now the
Look, he
Bears
had
are
done
up.
Some things as far as health in his family. It never distracted him. He was continuously there for his team. As you mentioned, he wasn't 100% healthy, but when he
Kelvin
is,
Banks a really
this
good
guy
player,
is
man. I'm happy
smooth
for
and
him.
fluid as
Who are
water.
the Bears
He has
taking?
the
They better not take
hands. He's got a
Omarion,
nasty
bro.
playing personality. He can pass protect with the very best of them, and the New Orleans Saints need it. They're one of the very worst teams in the NFL in terms of pass block win rate in 2024. You're right, Mel. They better find a quarterback in order to protect and someone who can help them compete in the South.
I just want to say it again.
But this guy's a building block. They
Shador
needed a player
Sanders
like this, and he is a culture
in
builder.
New
Sark
Orleans,
could not be happier and more
where he would
efficient
have
in
a
trade for
turf
Kelvin Banks.
And it kind of goes with how Mickey
and
Loomis
weather
built this team.
protection
8 out of the
for
last 10
over
picks
half
really
the
have been
season
offensive linemen,
would
defensive
be
linemen for Mickey Loomis and the
elite
Saints. He understands how to build this team.
in New
Yeah,
Orleans.
he may need a quarterback, but
He's
this is
the
a young
most
man. He's gotta play.
accurate
He's gotta finish it.
thrower
Let him
of the
finish his
football
But I love,
in the
as
draft.
Lord says, a building block for the Saints as they look for their quarterback in the future that they have to get at some point.
In our countdown show, Adam Schefter suggested the Saints may be looking to target a quarterback in the second round. Meanwhile, we have an update on the scheduling release. Laura Rutledge and Colin
And Joseph, I can't stand that fans feel this way. Not about the fans, but just that the coaching staff was so inept that they literally had fans saying he wouldn't have become an MVP in Denver, which is no. Get him out of there. Like, leave by if you can't develop him. If he can be a role player for the first 2 years, cool. But leave, gone. You get an offensive coach. You do what you got to do, and you keep it pushing. See, if they would have taken if they took Kyle Shanahan in 2017, they take Josh Allen in 2018, and all this is done.
Those late season
Kyle's career is different. The Broncos for the last 8 years is different. All of it, everything's different.
Who's playing at Lambeau in December? Ooh, we're going to have to find out. You'll find out soon, okay? How about these rookies, the players who are drafted here tonight? When and where do they make their
schedule release on May 14th?
We're going to find that out as well. Let's not forget the expanding lineup of international
That's
games
so crazy
as well as Christmas, Thanksgiving Day. There's so many captivating matchups. It's the best.
Yes, because nothing says holiday cheer like watching your team destroy another.
The Bears taking Colston, Loveland. I need to get off Twitter.
Everybody, get it together. Mark your calendars. Set your alarms. The schedule will be dropped on May 14th. There we go. Lock it in. We can't wait. You can tweet it out, tell everybody, and don't miss it. Be sure to check out all the great content.
Tyler Warren falling out of the top 10.
Club social channels around the schedule.
That's interesting, Denver.
ESPN.
Tyler Warren.
Tyler
Warren falling out of the top 10.
May 14th is just around the corner, too.
I know. It's basically here at this point. Guys, get ready and buckle up for the greatest season of your lives.
So there you have it, May 14th, which is a Wednesday, the 2025 NFL schedule release show.
961 people in here, by the way, watching live. Shout out to y'all. NFL Draft, live watch. 963. I mean, Colston Loveland's a great pick for the Bears.
Now, and that is because the Chicago Bears have just been announced as on the clock, and in fact, their pick is already in. There is no rivalry in any American professional sport, and that includes all of them, quite like the Bears and the Packers, which goes back to the very beginning of the National Football League.
Yeah, rip Steve McMichael.
Fans will boo the Bears even more.
Praying for you and your family.
The commissioner, here comes Roger Goodell.
Peace be with you.
Chicago selection at 10.
Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Romeo of Doomsday, Zacchaeus,
The NFL family
Colston
lost a true
Loveland,
legend.
Cole Kmet.
Bears Hall of Famer Steve McMichael. My heart is with the McMichael family during this incredibly difficult time. Misty, please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. Mongo's remarkable contributions to the game and the community will never be forgotten. His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come.
This is the 50th anniversary
with the
of Walter Payton's selection. Wow.
1975 NFL draft.
Yeah, I guess it was
The
1975.
Chicago Bears selected one of Steve McMichael's teammates and closest friends, Walter Payton, running back, Jackson State. Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns over 13 seasons, all with the Chicago Bears. As you heard earlier, the NFL continues to honor Sweetness not only for his performance and excellence on the field, but also his commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
The Clippers have a bunch of horse heads at the free throw line to strike Jokic. That's hilarious.
Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan.
Colston Loveland.
Yeah, Colston Loveland's a good pick. The 49ers picking in Jaylen Walker to the 49ers. That's probably what I would do.
258 people. He caught his first touchdown against Ohio State as a freshman. He caught 9 more the last 2 years. He caught
Colston, love him, man. That's a good pick, man.
Games last year, most by a tight end in school history.
Great receiving tight end. They're giving Caleb, man, this again, another year for Caleb Williams, second year in a row. He's going to have the best weapons of a first, second-year player you can imagine.
Down to them a few picks from now, but look at Colston Love.
3 premium receiving weapons and a good running back.
No issue there. They had quarterback problem in Michigan with J.J. McCarthy moving on to the NFL. His 56 catches, single-season record for a tight end, so he was still productive. He can
now, becoming a tight end in the league is difficult, though. Like, I will say that.
Blocking needs to improve, but what do they want? They have Cole Kmet. They want a third receiving option, a receiving entity.
1,030 people in here, y'all. Shout out to y'all. 1,030 people in here watching the NFL draft. Appreciate it, y'all. Y'all support always means the world.
Down the middle of the field, and he can make big catches, and he has run after the catch ability in Colston Loveland, Bug.
Very rarely, Greeny, do you get a tight end that can threaten the defense at all 3 levels. Short, intermediate, and he can go deep. As a defender, we don't prepare for tight ends to go 30, 40, 50 yards down the field. He can do that. Essentially, he plays like a big wide receiver. And you talk about the matchup problems.
That's what I was thinking. Denver.
This is the ultimate. I think Sean Payton calls him a
yeah, the Colts need other things, though. Like, they need another corner. They need an offensive lineman.
Yeah, the thing
they need a lot.
About him is the fact that even though he is such a great athlete and he comes off the ball so fast and can really stretch the middle of the field so quickly, if you go 12 personnel, right, with 2 wide receivers, 2 tight
all right,
ends,
Niners up next with the pick.
And put a defensive back on the field.
All right, back to the best available board. Jaylen Walker, Tyler Warren, Will Johnson, Baron. Jade Baron might be a shoot. So 49ers are up. They for sure need a corner. Honestly, Will Johnson or Baron would be cold here, but Mikael Williams would be cold here. And Michael Williams might be nice here. James Pierce, Harmon, basically a bunch of defenders that are left on the roster. The 49ers, they lost Dre Greenlaw. They lost Hufanga. Talanoa Hufanga is now with the Denver Broncos. Dre Greenlaw now with the Denver Broncos. Yeah, Jaylen Walker, I can see that. No, 49ers taking Mikael Williams. Michael Porter Jr. is playing tonight, by the way, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Porter Jr. is playing tonight. I got to get off Twitter. I'm trying to stay on Twitter. I'm trying to get on Twitter just to, look at the NBA stuff. And then next thing you know, they're sharing all this other stuff about the NFL draft. How the pick was in 7-8 minutes ago in reality, and it's not available because of commercial breaks. Because they absolutely have to show us Sleep Number commercials. Matt Stafford's Sleep Number. New York Knicks lead 93-85 with 11 minutes left in the fourth, by the way. I don't do parlays. I don't know how to help you. I really don't. I couldn't even tell you. I saw on Prospect it was like 29.5 for Jokic. I was like, I can't tell you that. I don't know. It's crazy, man. All these ads.
On the sidelines, we're gonna keep on into the helmet.
That's just the way the NBA had it written out, my boy. They decided they want to see OKC, Memphis. Well, the thing is, for Matt Moore, and he's correct, if the NBA wasn't shoving Warriors and Lakers down your throat, then they would be on. The best series would be on national television every game. But the Warriors and Lakers
Imagine if there's
have
an
to be
ESPN
on
sportsbook
prime time
that
television.
linked to the ESPN app, so you could track bets while you check stats.
Shador
Go
and
from
Canton,
streaming to
Texas.
betting in a couple tabs.
74% completion percentage with the
You're
worst
literally
offensive line
describing
maybe in
ESPN Bet, which
the
exists.
power
Be a
four.
total game changer. It's one of my best ideas.
ESPN Bet, the official sportsbook of ESPN. Sign up today and receive $100.
He's better than Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones right now. Shador Sanders is better than Anthony Richardson.
Welcome back to Green Bay.
Let
The
me
San
tweet this
Francisco
out right now.
49ers are on the clock at number 11.
I
You're
want this
looking
to
at a
be well
picture
known.
of Shador Sanders, who is in Texas tonight, waiting to hear his name be called. Now, it has been one of the big storylines leading up to this draft that if Shador Sanders or any of the quarterbacks lasted beyond the 9th selection of the New Orleans Saints, take a look at the teams who choose here through the teams, if you will, up until the Steelers pick at number 21. Not any obvious expectation that any of these teams would need to select a quarterback. So, Adam Schefter, what should we be expecting?
Well, Greeny, the wait is on for Mel Kiper's top-rated quarterback.
Yo, this draft taking forever.
Logical landing spot. The Pittsburgh Steelers at number 21. But there are no assurances that the Steelers take him. And if they don't take him at 21, then it's possible Shador Sanders could slip out of the first round and into the second round on Friday night.
All right, Shefty, thank you very much. And obviously, at any point, a team could wind up trading up and in. So we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. In the meantime, our house announcer, Alan Roach, has an announcement.
Please direct your attention to the main stage video screen for a special message from United States service members stationed at Yokota Air Base in Japan.
Hello from United States Forces Japan. I'm Sergeant Mitchell Johnson. I'm here with service members from the United States Army, Marine Corps, and Navy. We're proud to announce that this year we are
The
celebrating
San
our
Francisco
250th
49ers pick is
anniversary.
finally being announced.
We're grateful for the opportunity to partner with the NFL
Yo,
Salute to Service
what's
and
with
USO
all this?
and introducing the San
There's
Francisco
1,113 people in
49ers
here.
draft pick.
With the San Francisco 49ers draft
And
pick,
we over here
back to
watching
you in Green
ads,
Bay.
bro. Run the draft. Michael Williams to the 49ers. We knew this 8 minutes ago, 10, 15 minutes ago. Like, yo, like this is like this is the why the Pro Bowl sucked. It's too much
Thank
fluff.
you to our men and women who serve in the United States military for your sacrifices to defend our country's freedom.
Oh man, Michael Williams is 20 years old.
2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Michael Williams, defensive end, Georgia.
Michael Williams, 5 sacks last year. 2 of those came in the SEC title game against Texas. He was a 5-star recruit from Columbus, Georgia. 14 sacks in 3 seasons after starting his very first
He looks
game
huge.
as a true
And
freshman.
man,
Still very young, Mel. He won't turn 21 years old until late June.
Yeah, he had a high grade going into the season, Greeny. Then he had that ankle injury, a left ankle injury against Clemson, came back from it and played and didn't shut it down. Continued to play.
Yeah, Michael's huge.
He had 9 tackles for loss. He had 5 sacks. He forced a couple fumbles. He looks the part of an edge rusher in the National Football League. With his size, his long arms, 34.5 arms, and huge hands. What he needs to do is get a more repertoire of moves going, coming after the quarterback off the edge. I thought he played the run great. He has a strong run defender off the edge, but as a pass rusher, I thought a little bit more work that pass rush specialist these teams have want to get the most out of Michael Williams, folks.
He's got the things that you cannot teach: the traits, the height, the arm length, the ability to set the
all right, Cowboys pick is in. Are they taking Omarion?
Coach's defense. The only concern I have is when it comes to using those traits and getting to the passer. I didn't see much of a rush plan, Lou. I didn't see.
I'm telling
any
y'all,
moves besides the
turn
speed
off
of
Twitter, y'all. Turn off all your Twitter
to develop the
notifications.
moves, because when you get to the
Allow
National
yourself
Football
to
League
enjoy
level,
the NFL
just the
draft
traits
without
won't
being
win.
being
You have to
ruined.
have more than traits.
This is
You
such a
need to have
production.
pass rush
Let's get to the
arsenal.
draft.
How are you going to beat the offensive tackle and get to the quarterback?
1,145
John Lynch
people
loves
in
him.
here.
He loves defensive
And we
line.
waiting on them.
You're gonna
We wanna
pair
see
him
the
with
pick.
Colston, create
You
two
could
good
just
ends,
go
but is
boom,
he gonna
boom,
be able to
boom,
live up to
boom.
the
This
ceiling
pick,
that's
this
called the
draft
pass
should be
rush
done in
arsenal? I want to see that.
2 hours, 2.5.
Covered in San Francisco.
This should be a fantasy football draft.
That position used to be the heartbeat of that football team, both lines of scrimmage. In fact, defensive and offensive line. They need to restock that. Michael has not produced on a consistent basis the way you would think his measurables should bear themselves out. Mel mentioned the fact that he was injured this year. He said himself, he played at
Dallas Cowboys take
most of the year. He's got to tie it all together. Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator now for San Francisco, has to get it out of him.
Michael Williams, the first player ever out of Georgia to be selected.
Tyler Booker is a good pick.
In the first round.
Tyler Booker is a great pick. Yeah, that's Tyler Booker is a really good guard.
Is in an interesting one to make with their new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer. Here comes the commissioner to the stage. The Cowboys at 12, ready to make the selection.
With the 12th pick in the 20.
Yeah, I was hoping he fall to the Cincinnati Bengals because their offensive line is garbage.
Cowboys select
but he could be a force.
Booker,
like he really
guard,
could develop into a force.
He was a first-team All-American who just turned 21 2 weeks ago. Grew up in New Haven, Connecticut. Headed down to the IMG Academy where he was coached by former linebacker Pepper Johnson. Played in 38 games at Alabama. Started the final 27. All but one of those, Mel, was at left guard.
He's a powerhouse inside. He will beat you up. I'll tell you, it's a heavyweight fight when you go up against Tyler Booker, and you better bring it because he will beat you up. As a run blocker, he'll drive you off the ball. He never stops to sustain. And I thought he was in pass protection, book. Outstanding. Now, he's phone booth guy. You want movement? It's got to be scheme fit. Movement's not his game. But as a guy in that a power rotten team, he can drive you off the ball. Not what they say his best.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Alabama were excellent.
And I love this pick for the Cowboys. One
Tyler Booker's a really good player.
Retires and Zach Martin, and you draft another guy who's got, I think, has that kind of potential.
Would
as
you
a
trade
guard
to
use the right
13?
way. His power, his
Because the
ability
Miami
to take a
Dolphins have
man
so many
and
needs.
move that man against his will.
You trade the
That's what
13 if you're the
offensive linemen
Broncos.
try to do. He can do that with the best of them, Greeny. Understand how to use
Yeah, Tyler Smith and Booker. Tyler Smith and Tyler Booker is a nice guard duo, dog.
Displace the defenders and climb to the second level. This is a need pick. I think he's the best guard in the draft, and it fits what the Cowboys had to do.
But building the trenches is something that Dallas is trying to do, right? I mean, Tyler Booker, he's someone who's, at
Yeah, man.
6'4" and 3'21".
There's a good handoff.
But I thought when he did get locked on to people, when he did, he could actually absolutely move some people. He'll probably play the right guard. Tyler Smith will play the left guard. And you see him here on some of those combo blocks, when he's able to get his hands inside and get his legs moving, he's going to get some surface removal. He's going to get some people knocked off the ball. I did think, we got a little.
17 straight years they've had a player drafted in the first round.
Went up against
Alabama.
technique, was able to get on his edge and make him move.
They offered
laterally.
Javonte Williams to the lead back. Probably not. They'll get somebody the second or third round or something like that.
Coaches on a football staff minus the outside of the head coach. And Dallas is going to have to make sure that they develop this young man, getting consistent with his fundamentals so they can get it all out of him.
Yo, I thought too. I thought he should have. He should have went to the Saints.
So Alabama, by the way, now 17 consecutive years that they have had a player selected in round one. 16 had already been the longest streak for any school in draft history. So our colleague Nick Saban, very proud, no doubt about that, in his retirement doing the telecast tonight for us on ABC. So Alabama once again with a first-round player, and the Dallas Cowboys making their selection there at number 12, which leaves the Dolphins on the clock here at number 13. And the Dolphins, an interesting team to consider here as a fight in that AFC East. We should have Molly in a moment here with Tyler Booker and the joy, the unbridled joy that he brought out onto that stage. Just such a joy to watch as you see the emotion of a young man having this opportunity to be drafted by the Cowboys, obviously becoming a household name, certainly. We talked about plenty on Get Up all morning long. Let's talk to Verizon Business. Takes us down to the stage, and Molly McGrath is with Tyler Booker. Molly.
Tyler, a lot of emotion from your family in the green room. You came out onto the stage with a lot of emotion. What's going through you?
I'm just glad to be a Cowboy. This is really a dream come true. It's truly a blessing. I actually trained in Dallas, so I fell in love with the area. The whole process, I was like, man, it would be great to be a Cowboy. The Lord mysterious way, this morning, the emotion of moments like this. If you ever go through something, just trust that God who got you.
And now, those who know you emphasize your leadership and character. What are the Cowboys getting in you?
They're getting the same thing Alabama got. They're going to get a leader, somebody who loves to work, somebody who loves practice, somebody who loves his teammates, somebody who's going to aim to win multiple championships. I can't wait.
I love how they're running down the hallway, though.
I'm so excited.
Congratulations.
It's like the real kids being drafted.
Booger, you were talking about in our meeting this morning, the emotion.
All right, back to the best available board. Jaylen Walker still on there. Tyler Warren still on there. Will Johnson still on there. Jade Baron still on there. Derek Harmon still on there. James Pierce. There's a lot of really good players. Jihad Campbell is still there. Mike Green still there. There are a lot of really good players. There are a lot of really good players available. 1,226 people in here, y'all. A lot of really good players still sitting here in the draft. Like, the Broncos are guaranteed to get some real talent. They're getting real talent in the draft this year.
Looking for.
Look who's getting their fix for kicks and dicks.
I don't know about y'all, man, but if you're a Broncos fan, you should feel real good right now. There's a lot of talent on the board. You can trade up if you want, but I don't know who you trade. If you love Tyler Warren or Will Johnson, you trade up for him. Because I honestly, I thought Tyler Warren was gone. If you love him, you trade up for him.
And start ordering with $0 delivery fees on Grubhub for top restaurants and your go-to spots. Eligible orders only. Terms and additional fees. $6 never tasted so good. IHOP's breakfast bakes combo is now just $6. Featuring IHOP's world famous buttermilk pancakes, crispy hickory smoked bacon, and 2 eggs cooked to order your way. All for just $6. Part of the new $6 Upspace menu.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years.
Man, the game is on in about 30 minutes, just over, probably 40 minutes. Yo, if they love Will Johnson, Joseph, if they love Will Johnson, yes. Like, that's the thing. If you think that you get a bona fide star corner, I would do it. If you believe that. Because at the end of the day, you can find offense in the second, third, and fourth round. But if you can get a star at the cornerback position opposite Patrick Surtain, and now you got Riley Moss and McMillan that you're playing with, nickel dime situation, then yes, you do it. You make yourself even wealthier. But the real question becomes, the real question becomes, like, is there better offensive value there? But it's up to you. That's completely up to you. I will not be on playback for PC. Exactly. No fly zone 2.0. You get exactly, and maybe even better. With Hufanga too and Brandon Jones. Like, come on, y'all. It could get nasty out here playing versus the Broncos. Like, who you throwing against?
Something kind of big.
Dolphins on the clock. Welcome to the stage.
Welcome back to Green Bay, where the Miami Dolphins are currently on the clock. We are a dozen picks in to round
Kenneth
one
Grant.
here of the 2025 National Football League Draft.
Kenneth Grant.
The Dallas Cowboys selected Tyler Booker, if you were just joining us.
From Michigan. Let me go to my big board. Where was Kenneth Grant at?
Relatively quickly tonight, very few of the teams have taken.
Of the remaining prospect, he was the 16th remaining
So the
prospect.
Dolphins are on the clock, and the commissioner is here.
There's
to announce
so
the
much
selection.
talent being kicked to the draft.
With the
Man.
13th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan.
And one of the stars of the national title team 2 years ago, an All-American this past year. Great size in the middle of that D-line, over 330 pounds, runs well, brings plenty of experience. Melly played in 41 games at Michigan.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I think when you look at the fluctuation, both weight, because when he gets a little heavy, I thought his endurance, the stamina played a little high, wore down in some games. That's an issue. I think when he plays at the right weight, he can be a guy who can affect the path of the quarterback throwing the football, because he can break up passes. He can be disruptive. Certainly, you look at the violent, active hands. He showed that as well as Mason Graham did at Michigan. He was really going into the year thought to be almost on a par with Mason Graham. So when you look at Kenneth Grant, Calais Campbell now is an Arizona Cardinals defensive tackle because of that move became a need. Kenneth Grant, they say, manage that weight. Don't have games where you, like I said, the endurance, stamina you need to be able to play full steam ahead for 60 minutes. When you play high, you're neutralized. And that's what happened with Kenneth Grant. But when he was on his game and the weight was where it needed to be, he was a really good football player. And he was a guy I thought should get better.
Yeah, he's a huge dude. 330 pounds is crazy.
If you're thinking about his ceiling, think Dexter Lawrence from the New York Times.
Derek, so
That's the type of big man he is that can move, athletic, can run, can make plays. This is not just a guy that's going to be a fire hydrant and sit there. This is a big man that's 330 pounds, Greeny, and he can run, he can move. He's got to become a better rusher, and I think he has all the tools because he is a twitchy 330 pounds. He uses his hands. I need more out of him in the pass rush game, but from a run standpoint, he can lock down just the way Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, all offensive players first 14 picks last year, and 6 quarterbacks taken in the top 12.
This kid has tremendous upside. Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator in Miami, they need some beef on the inside. Gave up too many yards after contact last year as far as run defense. He'll help that.
All right, so we are 13 picks.
9 offense, 5 defensive players taken so far. Only 1 QB in the first 13 picks.
Into the conversation. These picks have had a very distinctly different feel, Cap, from
Colts
the first
pick is
13
in.
a year ago.
Yeah, Grady, what a difference
Tyler Warren?
a year makes, right? Last
Well, they
year,
just
the
buff up their
first
old
14
offensive line.
picks in the
But then they get a
draft
corner
are
in Will
all
Johnson.
offensive players.
They have
That is
so
the
many
longest
needs.
streak
Are they just going to stick to getting a tight end?
in the common draft era. So far this year, through 13 picks, 9 offense, 5 defense. That adds up to 14. That's because
Tyler Warren to the Colts.
both sides of the ball, and only 1 QB so far in the first 13 picks tonight. We had 6 QBs through this point last year. We'll see where the next one goes off the board.
All right, the Indianapolis Colts have made their selection. That pick is in. We've been speculating about them taking a tight end all along, and there was one sitting right there for them. Let's see if that's the direction they go. Here's the commish.
Who's throwing him the ball?
With the 14th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State.
Well, they had to be doing a dance in there.
Tyler Warren's a good route runner.
Full and better for the Colts. Tyler Warren is the best tight end in Penn State's rich
He's a good player.
history. He won the Mackey Award as the nation's top tight end.
Yeah, I mean,
last year,
Anthony
catching
Richardson and Daniel
104
Jones is
passes,
an
Mel,
interesting
in what
QB room
proved
to
be
walk
a
into in the
16-game season for that
NFL.
line.
Hopefully
He
Anthony
didn't have
gets
a lot
better.
of receptions going the year because Theo Johnson was there. Became a New York Giant. Theo Johnson did. That opened up the opportunity for Tyler Warren to become a focal point in this offense. He was a chess piece. They were creatively utilizing him in a lot of ways. Had him as a wildcat quarterback. He was a quarterback, left-handed quarterback, southpaw in high school. Great basketball player in high school. Contested catches go his way. He's got strong hands, excellent hand-eye coordination. He's a powerful young man. Running the football after the catch, running with that football. He's a fullback. He is a powerful guy. You can't tackle him. One guy cannot get him down. He'll catch it all.
Yeah, Tyler's a really good player, man. Like, I really like, he's going to be a good weapon with the
Like I
Colts.
said, he came through. He's
Dallas Clark?
Then throwing pass. H-back, through tight end. He can do so many things as that versatile chess piece. That's why I thought he made
Dallas
it a
Clark?
New York Jet. They pass on Bowers. Now they pass on Warren for the O-lineman. And that allows a guy like Tyler Warren. After Loveland went a little earlier, Tyler Warren goes to the Colts, and a major need for them was tight end.
When you sit and you talk to this young man, Greeny, you just kind of go, this dude is just a flat-out football player. He's a flat-out athlete. He was a 3-sport player in high school. He played baseball. He played basketball. You see some of his basketball highlights. They're ridiculous. They're throwing alley-oops and stuff. So he's going up and getting the ball like this over top of people's heads. We got to talk to him a couple times this past year, man, and he is. And then on top of it, he's so smart. The ways in which they use him. I mean, in Indianapolis, Shane Steichen's going to be like, hey, look, man, we can put this guy just about anywhere because he's just so smart, has so much mental horsepower, is so versatile. You're right. I mean, he fell right to him. And how cool is that if you're the Indianapolis Colts right now? You got maybe the best player at the position, and he fell right to you. You didn't have to do a thing.
This is just a listing of all the different places that he lined up over the course
Back
of
to the
his
big board.
college career. By the way, the last time that
All right. Jaylen Walker, Will Johnson, Baron, Harmon, Pierce, Harrison, Jihad Campbell. Jihad Campbell. He's a really good player, y'all. Like a sudden striker at linebacker. Very fast, very physical player. Hampton, Shamar Stewart is there. Matthew Golden is available still. Josh Simmons, Iman Wari, Nick, the South Carolina safety, is a really good player.
In this game, making the right move is hard. Unless you use open door to sell your home. And it's pretty easy.
Ejiraku, yeah, Donovan Ejiraku, they're still available. Shador, obviously. Jaden Higgins. I mean, probably not today. I mean, really, at this point, it's like who you value most. Like Travion Henderson, Omarion Hampton, Egbuka. I think they're all going to be there. Oh man, this playoff game can be such a dogfight. Yeah, Campbell and Greenlaw, you get it. You see the vision. Jihad Campbell and Greenlaw would be asinine. Like again, it's not a need, but it's like you get so much value at that spot.
Check out the new whip. I fully custom.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy game, man. I'm not even sure. I don't even know if I'm ready to watch it yet. The Nuggets and Clippers game. Yep, first playoff game there. Shane, currently watching the draft, and I will turn on the Nuggets game immediately, and then have the draft in the background, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But hopefully the Broncos are up before then. St. Louis is on the board, Arizona, and then Cincinnati. So we're getting right around the Broncos. Yeah, I hope if Jokic has 20 assists today, they win. Like maybe going away.
Back to Green Bay, the Atlanta Falcons on the clock at the 15th pick. Brought to you by Shador Sanders, and this is looking like Aaron Rodgers. Could be like Boomer Esiason back in 1984, slipped in the second round. Think about Brett Favre as well. Geno Smith. This has happened before. Guess what? All those quarterbacks are going to be pretty doggone good. So for Shador Sanders, the key right now is 21 Pittsburgh. Against Pittsburgh, who would just go get Shador Sanders, or they wait until he falls in their lap, right? That'll be interesting. Because guess what? He won't come back to haunt some of these organizations that have to channel in that. The ESPN draft day predictor surprised. Perhaps Shador Sanders hasn't been drafted yet.
Surprised to who that he hasn't been drafted?
Jaylen Walker is still on the board. Jaylen Walker had, according to our predictions, less than a 1% chance to be available.
Jaylen Walker, less than 1% chance. I'm sorry, my bad, y'all. I'll stop streaming it. My bad. Get on my job. My fault. Ugh, my bad. There was a less than 1% chance that Walker was going to be available.
Predictor surprised Perhaps
That is
Richard
hilarious.
Alexander hasn't been drafted yet, but not stunned. Maybe the bigger surprise is that Jaylen Walker is still on the board. Jaylen Walker,
If the Broncos like him,
according
take
to our
him.
predictions, less than a 1% chance still to be available here at the 15th selection. The Atlanta Falcons are a team that certainly could use defensive help. Would that be a pick that makes sense here? Yeah, let's go back to Mel's graphic for a moment here if we can. We talk about quarterback sliding, and these have been some of those that you were talking about.
There's based on my grades and all the mocks and everything I was doing then. Who was the surprise? You see Geno Smith all the way into the second round. Jimmy Clausen bust, second round, right? Brady Quinn, two Notre Dame quarterbacks, disappointment. Look at all the hits. Aaron Rodgers, Geno, Chad Pennington dropped to 18. He was expected to go a lot higher. Brett Favre, second round. Boomer Esiason. Bengals had 3 first-round picks. Didn't take Boomer. He went to the second round. Look how that turned out. Dan Marino dropped at the end of the first round. Cal Davis and Ken O'Brien went ahead of him. So it worked out really good for 6 of the 8 quarterbacks. It slid from where they were ranked. We're waiting on Will
Some
Levis.
baby threw up
That's
somebody's
2
draft
years,
party.
guys, okay? I'll wait on
That
Will.
is
Maybe Will
hilarious.
is one on that list. He will be. We'll see how it works out. But 6 of the 8 that slid.
Check the
Yeah,
Knicks
I think
game.
Sanders will as well.
Look, it's always important to the
Oh,
players
well, look at that. Another
when
commercial.
they go, because you want to get drafted as high as possible because there's some satisfaction that comes with that. But where you go ultimately is what matters even more. And he just needs to get to the right place now.
And what we're showing here is a look at the uniqueness of Lambeau Field and Green Bay. This is just across the street. These are just people in their homes celebrating and enjoying themselves here in the shadow of Lambeau Field. It's one of the things that makes this place so extraordinarily special. Lambeau Field, which will this season be hosting the 69th consecutive season of Packers football, making it the longest continuously used stadium in the National Football League. So a special place to hold this extraordinary event. So the Atlanta Falcons, again, a team that has struggled on defense, struggled for pass rush.
Yeah, Jaylen Walker to the Falcons. Great value pick.
Give us all an opportunity.
Less than a 1% chance he would be there.
I'm told that Roger
And you get a
Goodell
great
has the
rusher.
pick in hand and is making his way to the stage now. So the Falcons will announce their selection here. It will be Atlanta, then the Arizona Cardinals on the clock after them, then Cincinnati, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Denver.
Atlanta.
Rounding out the top 20.
ATL.
The commissioner with the Falcons selection.
ATL. ATL.
Pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select.
Oh boy, they
Jaylen
need all the
Walker,
defensive help they can
defensive
get.
end, Georgia.
Well, there he is. That's a name we expected to hear earlier. He won the Butkus Award last year as the nation's
They
best
need all the help they
linebacker.
can get.
61 tackles and 6
Ooh, 4-point game in the fourth quarter. Brunson has the ball. 45 seconds left.
And a Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of high school in North Carolina.
Carolina took Tetairoa McMillan, didn't take Jaylen Walker. That allows them to slide down here. Jaylen
Tobias.
Walker led the Georgia Bulldogs in tackles for loss with 10.5 and sacks with 6.5. He was off ball as well.
Arizona, Cincinnati, and Seattle.
Atlanta needs, they need an
Man,
edge
the Broncos are really about to get a weapon here,
This
dog.
guy is heavy hand.
I think Arizona's take Will Johnson.
Opponent's back. He's quick to trigger as an off-ball linebacker, physical, taking on blocks. This kid, number 11, in every game towards the play this year, guys, top.
Interesting, Mel.
Jaylen Walker, James Harrison.
But the best thing that he does is rush on the edge. Very, very
I
similar
picked the
to
Knicks to win tonight, by the way, and
named Michael Parsons.
they about to
His
win.
ability to line up at multiple positions.
Pick the Nuggets to win
and
tonight.
wreak
So
havoc on the quarterback. He can play off the ball. He can play on the ball. But he was absolutely dynamite coming off the edge. Just ask the Texas Longhorns. They could not do anything with him. You're going to block him with a tight end, a guard, a tackle. It does not matter. Heavy hand. And at an undersized rusher, Lewis, to me, he reminds me of James Harrison.
not a lot of
I'm not
pass rush
concerned about
moves is
this
what I'm
because
hearing. He
he's
plays
only 6'1".
very
We saw
hard.
James Harrison
His
at
effort
6'1",
sacks.
play outside linebacker for the Steelers and dominate. Coming off the edge, rushing against offensive tackles. I think Jaylen Walker can do the exact same thing at the same height.
Yeah, look, James Walker,
Yeah, Matthew Golden, Joseph, Matthew Golden.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, Jaylen's interesting because
Marvin
it's not
Harrison,
a whole lot of technique
Matthew
involved with
Golden.
him. He just plays so hard.
Yep, Cade.
And he's so
Take that three,
explosive
Cade.
to see through his core with his hand, and he never gives up. Effort sacks are something that they're not effort sacks to him. They're just normal. That's just the way he plays. It'll be interesting to see what Raheem Morris does with him and where he plays him because he does play all over the place. 2-point, hand down, off the ball, spy guy. I said in my notes,
It's
this guy's
9:50,
gonna be
y'all.
a hell of a blitzer. I pity any running back blitzer step up in the A gap and take on this dude. Because I'll tell you,
Nuggets
you better
game is on the
go
way up,
next.
and we are
You
4
better
picks
be
away.
able to play low because this dude is
Yeah.
coming now, and he comes with a lot of fury. I'm looking forward to see what they do with it in order to get the pass rush they need.
Well, and to that point, if at first you don't succeed, just keep trying and trying again. The Falcons have been trying to fix their pass rush since Big Beast. This is another effort for Raheem Morris and this defense trying to fix this pass rush. Hopefully it works for them this time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that Mike Green is still on the board for Marshall, who's fantastic.
Yeah,
This is the first time the Falcons have used a top 15 pick on a defensive player since Vic Beasley in 2015. And we'll continue from Green Bay in 30 seconds after this word from Thrivent.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. We use money as a tool to help all the people we hold in our hearts. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we care about.
Cardinals pick is in.
At Thrivent, we help you
I
plan your
wish Nugget
financial
steps up
picture
this game.
with the bigger picture in mind.
Christian Brown gotta
Because
have
the
a good
most
game.
important thing
He hasn't had a
isn't
single
what
good game
you
yet in the
plan
playoffs,
for,
so
it's who.
not looking great for
Where
Christian.
money means more.
They're just taking away the transition.
All
He's
right,
not
so
doing
we
anything in the half
continue
court, so
here
he needs to have a
live
better
from
game.
Green Bay, where the
You gotta
Atlanta
shoot the ball
Falcons have
and
just
make
made
shots.
Jaylen Walker from
Go to
Georgia,
shoot,
the
make 'em.
15th pick in the draft. The Arizona Cardinals.
Porter seems like he's healthy. He needs to have a good game. Murray needs to have a good game. Jokic needs to have a good game. They need to have good games from at least 4 of their players. 4 of their 7 real rotation players.
Pittsburgh at number 21, and that's
Except-
the next spot where we might expect.
Well, I guess they got
a
8.
quarterback.
Peyton Watson,
Now, how about
Jalen Pickett, and
Arizona
Russ
what
is
we should
their
expect from the
8-man
Cardinals here
rotation.
at 16.
Well, I talked about Calais Campbell
They
going
just
back
Kawhi
there.
Leonard
So
just,
you look at that
hopefully he doesn't
defensive
start
tackle,
12
you
or
think about a
13.
guy like Jade Baron or Will Johnson, cornerback there, and being very versatile. And then Matthew Golden, that third receiver, that speed option. Matthew Golden ran 4.29 on the heels of a heck of a year. He was the go-to guy for the Texas Longhorns. I was surprised Tetairoa McMillan went ahead of Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden, after coming over from the Houston Cougars, was outstanding. You know, he had 2 drops all year, concentration drops. This kid comes to play. He's a professional playing that wide receiving spot. So they have some really good options set up here. I think we'll see where they go. Do you go defense? Because like you say, Calais Campbell's there. So you mentor a young defensive tackle. Or do they go corner, safety like Barron or Will Johnson, or help out wide receiver with Kyler Murray getting that?
Well, that's what I want to say. You're talking about helping the young quarterbacks. It doesn't necessarily need to be wide receiver. You can help them with an offensive tackle also to protect them up front. That seems to be the thing, helping these young quarterbacks. Look what they did in Carolina. They went and got a receiver.
Yeah, KCP needs Denver. Denver needs KCP.
Chicago went and got him a tight end. You got to help him, whether with some weapons on the outside
Hurry
or
up.
protection up front.
Yeah, look, Jonathan Gadden, the head coach
Dang.
down there, former defensive coordinator, basically runs
Brother,
the
draft it
defense.
on for 2
They
hours.
just can't rush the passer very
Russ,
well down
pick
there. They need some
16.
juice off the edge. They need some juice on the inside. Look, they went and signed Josh Sweat from free agency.
Walter
Josh
Nolen.
Sweat from the Philadelphia Eagles, who wound up pairing it up in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. And you're right, they still do need wide receivers.
And they drafted one, obviously, last
Walter
year. High in the
Nolen,
draft.
okay.
Marvin
It's
Harrison
not bad.
Jr. had something of an up-and-down season in his first year there with Arizona when their quarterback, Kyler Murray.
Will Johnson
So the
slipping is
Cardinals
interesting.
pick is in, and the commissioner is making his
Maybe
way to
Cincinnati.
stand
This
for
would
the
be great for
announcement
Cincinnati, maybe.
of the Cardinals at 16.
With the 16th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select
Yeah, but Joseph, I just don't think that's fair to KCP. His shot went away there
Mississippi.
in Orlando. But even if he was making $17.5 million right here, the $17 million they could use and another player and another defender. Like,
Season at Ole Miss with
and they wouldn't, he wouldn't be guarded like a non-shooter as opposed to Brown and Russ.
For the Outland
Like if
Trophy.
they had KCP with Brown, Russ, like Pickett, Watson, it's a 9-man rotation.
Had in 2 seasons combined.
Dubert, what are your Browns doing?
Guys, you can move him around, and he
Probably
going
gonna trade up and get
I think the fit.
Shedeur Sanders,
You have
which they
Calais
should.
Campbell back in Arizona to mentor.
They have Deshaun
Walter
Watson still
Nolen.
starting
So I think from a
at
standpoint of
quarterback with the
developing
torn
a young
Achilles,
player,
so
teaching him right,
he's not
making
good
him understand
right
what
away.
it takes to be a professional football player. This is, I think, what Walter Nolen needs that will benefit him in his career.
And I think the Calais Campbell part is really necessary because Walter Nolen can be as good as he wants to be. He can be dominant, Greedy. He has multiple position versatility, but I'd line him up in
Walter
3
Nolen,
techniques because
interesting
a guy
draft
like this
pick.
has to get vertical, that can hit gaps and get to the quarterback. When you pick a defensive tackle this high, you're expecting impact play, not just tackles for losses. You want sacks, you want cause fumble. He's the twitchiest defensive tackle in the draft. He's got that. He can get upfield and get around the offensive guard and get to the quarterback. My only problem with it is I didn't see it consistently enough. He was a 5-star. He was the number 1 recruit.
I'm good with that. See, but the thing is, like being locked into a roster with KCP and being on the move, the real issue is the Zeke Najee contract. You don't sign Zeke Najee to what you sign him to. You can sign KCP. You're still under the second apron.
That's what I want to
The issue was who they paid.
That was the thing.
And then you offer a player option to Reggie Jackson. You trade 3 second-round picks to get off the contract. You offer a player option to Russell Wilson, which is cool.
You just want
You
to
offer
see that the
tax
the pendulum
MLE.
swings to them being much more on than they're off. Walter,
You offer
when
a
he's
tax
on,
MLE
when you talk about
to,
taking gaps, playing on the offensive side of the
Dario
line of
Saric.
scrimmage, when they move him on stunts
And
and,
then
he's
you offer,
slanting and he's running TTs inside, meaning
second,
he is disruptive
you
as
offer
heck.
a player,
But then
player
he
option
just
on the next year.
disappeared.
That was the issue. So again, still a lot of talent here. Trevon Diggs, that's cool. Number 2, that's like a number 2 corner. A lot of talent still left over. Man, this NBA TV, so the game might start right away.
Official ambassador has opened a new world for me. Now I get to hang out with NFL fans all season long. See you on game day.
Did they just hop from a baseball game to a show on Max without leaving DirecTV?
It's like all their apps and channels are.
Oh, it's all connected. Shows, movies, sports, television shows.
What's she talking about?
Tell me, how does DirecTV put all your favorite stuff on one home screen? Uncanny content suggestions based on your watch history? Mind control.
You recently elected a better way to watch whatever you want to watch.
Well, I for one am intrigued.
Looking for a reason to try the $5 meal deal with you? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5. Get more than you expect. The $5 meal deal with you. Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. Dak going for it, and he fumbles. Brilliant recovery with the Lowe's app. He always delivers. So does the Lowe's app. In store, online, our local team.
Yeah, I mean, they like Travion Henderson. You take him. That's, like I said, at this point, Travion Henderson, Omarion Hampton, Egbuka, Will Johnson, and then if you really love Luther Burden, like they're gonna get somebody. We just said that. Yeah, Travion Henderson, Emeka from Ohio State, Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina, maybe Luther Burden. I think Will Johnson, I think the Bengals should get Will Johnson, personally. Ooh, I didn't realize there's half a second left. How many timeouts? There's half a second left. And they're down. Yeah, Jaylen Brunson just missed his free throw. Yeah. Oh, whoa. They call. Oh, wow. Oh, no. The Detroit announcers. Dang, they started the clock when the ball hit the rim. Oh, wow. Nah. The Detroit. That's crazy. Nah, the clock operators had to do that on purpose, bro. The ball hit the rim and they got play going and nobody had touched the ball.
17.
All right, y'all. Who are they drafting?
That lost Sam Hubbard, a defensive end, to retirement all season. They're still talking to Trey Hendrickson about a new contract, but the two
that's crazy, y'all.
The
ball hit the rim and they got the clock started.
Are expected to look at the spot for more pass rush help. All right, Shefty, thank you. And that Bengals pick is in. They have the
Shamar Stewart to the Cincinnati Bengals. Will Johnson. Wow. Seattle takes Will Johnson then?
They have not. They've taken care of the two wide receivers. So the offense looking good. The defense, major questions. Here's the commissioner to announce the 17th pick as we begin the second half of the first round of this draft. The commissioner enjoying the musical performance. And here's the selection.
With the 17th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Shamar Stewart, defensive end, Texas A&M.
All right, so he was a top 10 national recruit coming out of Miami, and does he
not gonna lie, the Detroit operators cheated.
Off the charts, but Mel, we've talked about it throughout this draft process. Just 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons at College Station. So it's a difference between the traits and the production.
Problem is, Greeny, some AOGs block the LTP. That's AOGs, another occupation guy, right? The guys will not be playing professional football, neutralized and handled. Shamar Stewart, 1.5 sacks the last 3 years. That's 4.5 for his career. The last 7 games of the year, 3 successive seasons, he didn't record a
Does
sack.
Detroit get a miracle heave here?
Now,
Jalen Duren inbounding the ball.
Daniil Hunter, could he? Daniil Hunter had 4.5
and
career
passes the
sacks.
ball
1.5
out of
hits
bounds.
Last year at LSU. He's got
Or he tips the ball out of
99.5
bounds.
sacks. He averages 11 sacks a year in the NFL. But that's an outlier, right?
Is the ball passed out of bounds or is
Who
it
we know
tipped out of
about
bounds?
an LTP or looks apart, 6'5", 267, 4'5", 40, 160, 10, 34 1/8 arms, and a 40 vertical. Are you kidding me? He should be getting double-digit sacks, Bug. What's the problem?
Mel, here's the thing I'll tell you. I'd rather drive a Mercedes than a pickup truck because I like to drive fast. At least I know I can go fast in the Mercedes. And it's up to the defensive line coach to get the best out of him because you can take this young man with the traits that he has and his speed. He has the potential to be a double-digit sack guy in the National Football League. A lot of disruption, not a lot of production, but the tools are there.
Yeah, inbounding passes in that situation are difficult, so whatever.
He needs coaching. He needs to understand pass rush
1-2,
and how to
Knicks.
finish at the quarterback. That's what
Did
the
somebody
NFL
touch
is
the
about.
ball?
I love this pick for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I just wonder how this is going to impact Trey Hendrickson and what they do with him.
You know, they need somebody like Trey Hendrickson around. Show this young man how to rep the pass, right? Think of some of the players that you played with. When you have other guys who you can sit and watch. Like, it's not just going to be on their new defensive coordinator, Al Golden. He can't just be the one who's going to teach this young man how to pass rush. There's got to be people in the locker room that are going to help him as well. He plays hard as hell. I mean, hard. They move him.
Yeah,
from a
shout out to you.
9-10
Got you, bro.
outside the tackle. They'll put him over the nose, and he can collapse the pocket, but he just doesn't have a plan.
Verizon Business takes us back to the stage. Molly is
Who's
with
Seattle
Shamar.
trading back with?
Thanks, Greeny. Shamar, scouts and GMs all rave about your physical gifts. You have a longer wingspan than LeBron James. How were you built to play in this league?
Man, I'm built for it. I'm made for it. I'm a hard body. I'm made from this. I'm ready.
The Bengals' new defensive coordinator, Al Golden, known for his aggressive style. How can he bring out the best in you?
Hey, man, this time going straight line. I'll figure everything else out.
Another commercial break.
Jackson
Oh,
and Joe
my
Burrow's
gosh,
jobs just got a
y'all.
little bit harder in the AFC North. Congratulations.
Big board, re-update. Will Johnson, Aaron, Harmon, Pierce, Harrison, Jahad Campbell, Mike Green, Marion, Matthew Golden. Okay, well, the pick is in. Never mind.
Are starting to do just that. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock, followed by Tampa and Denver, and we'll be back in 15 seconds after this word from Thrivent.
With Thrivent, your personal finances aren't just personal. We use money as a tool to help all the people we hold in our hearts. Because the most important
I mean,
thing
defense by
isn't
Lou
what you're
Dort.
planning for. It's who. Thrivent, where money means more.
versatility to play every position.
All right, we are back in Green Bay. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock in an interesting offseason for Seattle.
Nuggets not on yet. No, the OKC Memphis game is on.
Sign up Sam Darnold, so it's sort of a new era there with their second-year coach Mike McDonald. What direction should we be expecting now for the Seattle Seahawks here, picking at number 18?
We talked about a lot about the interior of the offensive line, and Tyler Booker is gone, and there's other guys.
1,545 people in here, by the way. Shout out to y'all.
And Lou, and that's where Gray Zable, North Dakota State. I know some teams in the late first round were hoping he would slide through the cracks, but the versatility to play every position on the offensive line. Practice at center at the Senior Bowl.
The Seahawks are taking.
I know he could have gone anywhere he wanted. He stayed at North Dakota State, loyal to that program, and he can play anywhere on that line. But he could be a Pro Bowl guard.
Gray Zable,
especially if they feel really good about their two.
Another offensive lineman. Gray Zable, really good player on North Dakota State.
Abraham Luke, if they feel really good.
That's 3 guards.
Tackles, then I agree with Mel.
Taking
the interior.
2 tackles, 3 guards.
Way to go.
A quick note as we await the commissioner, there's been 1 trade so far. The fewest in any first round in the common draft era is 3. We'll see if those start. But here's the commission.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Gray Zable, guard, North Dakota State.
So there he is, Mel. There's your guy. You just mentioned it. He had NIL offers to leave North Dakota State, but stayed in part so he could play with his brother.
North Dakota State be putting out some players,
he
man.
won the FCS championship last year, got invited to the Senior Bowl. He was great there. This, by the way, is the 4th year in the last 5 the Bison have had an offensive lineman selected in the draft.
Yeah, you look at it, start the first 3 games at left guard in 2020.
What is that safety doing?
Right tackle for the
it's like cover 2.
This past year, he's at left tackle for North Dakota State. He's getting the job done again, getting it done there. Started the final 36 games of his career. 41 overall at left tackle, right tackle, left guard, and right guard. As I said, practice at center at the Senior Bowl in Lewis. Technique and a fiery approach. He's got a defensive mentality.
All right, Tampa Bay's up.
I know down in Mobile, impressed a lot of offensive line coach.
No doubt, especially with his play on the interior, center, and guard. You go
Another commercial.
Where you started those games.
Boy, we've been streaming for 2 hours, and we have pick 19. Yo, what if they take Will Johnson, bro? It's like, let's just make the strongest defense in the NFL even stronger. Just go full Eagles, all defense. Yeah, there's plenty of skill players left. That's what I'm saying. Do you really need to draft a skill player in the first round? Maybe. We'll see what Sean Payton does. I'm glued to the NBA TV notification to see when the game starts, and I don't see anything yet. 8 minutes left until the game starts.
Cleaning your dog's teeth can be fun. But not with Greenie's dental treats. Greenies, make health a treat. Also, try Greenie's dog food and toppers. I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. This is a meal. Melty, cheesy, flaky, toasty. Lunch just got croissant-tastic. Try the new croissant toast sandwiches. It just...
But he still has his running mate, James Harden, doing a great job getting everybody involved, still getting 10 timely buckets as well. But I think for this team to win game 3 right now, it's got to be a Kawhi led group as far as points, also his impact on defense.
Yeah, I agree with Bulls. The way Kawhi played in game 2, if he comes out and he can impact the game the way he did from start to finish this game, I don't think Denver has an answer. He's playing at this level.
Man, if Kawhi Leonard's going to make 12 or 13 from jumpers again, then it's going to be a problem. But that's crazy. 12 or 13, nuts.
15 and 19, and it was like, it was tough shots.
Yeah, there's a lot of tough shots. That's that. It looked like Devin Booker did in 2023.
Seriously, he was locked in on another level.
A healthy playoff Kawhi Leonard is just unstoppable. So they're hoping to see more of that. They've also got Zubac, who has been doing a good job on Nikola Jokic. Of course, Nikola Jokic still get.
Dang, bro. Pickett's in for the Bucks.
But as you progress, something better, baby.
All right, Will Johnson, Baron, Harmon, Pierce, Harrison, Campbell, Mike Green, Omarion, Golden, Henderson, Egbuka. Who will the Broncos take?
San Francisco 49ers select Alex Smith.
We're almost there.
Forget franchise. Aaron Rodgers will be solid. How far he drops is going to be the storyline of the day.
The Miami Dolphins select Ronnie Brown, Carnell Williams, Antrell Roll.
And a week and a half ago, it looked like Aaron was going to be the guy. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot, and somebody's going to get themselves a heck of a steal.
With the 24th selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Aaron Rodgers.
We're back in Green Bay. Time now for a draft moment brought to you by Ego.
The Broncos are sticking at 20. Interesting.
So what were the possibilities that we would have?
Yo, the Steelers would be insane.
At the 19th pick, which is where we are now. Well, as you can
They
see,
would
it was
be
about 50-50.
insane
We would be
to
there at
pass
13.
on Shador
Percentages continue to
Sanders.
drop, and we were a few picks
Why
away
are
from the
people
Steelers
treating this
at
man like he's
21.
Johnny
Adam Schefter,
Manziel,
what can you
bro?
tell us?
Stop
Brady,
it.
we're not going to see Shador picked at 19 or 20. The Buccaneers are sticking at 19. The Broncos are sticking at number 20, and that would bring us to the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21. That is the pick that a lot of people have wondered whether the team would take it. He's got some support within the organization. Mike Tomlin is a fan of Shador Sanders. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith is a fan of Shador Sanders. But the Steelers also need help at defensive tackle, wide receiver, running back, some other positions.
Oh my gosh, Egbuka went.
There's real possibility.
Oh my gosh, Egbuka went at 19.
All right, Chef B, and there you saw Shador with his legendary father and longtime coach, Deion Sanders, been his coach.
They have two receivers already.
The Buccaneers are on the clock right now, and here comes the commissioner with the 19th selection.
With the 19th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State.
That's a little bit of a surprise. A terrific player. We thought they might go defense, but if you think of all the great pass catchers Ohio State has sent to the NFL, even in the last handful of years, consider Emeka Egbuka is the school's all-time leading receiver, Mel. 205 catches.
Yeah, he ran a 4.47 primary slot.
Emeka Egbuka now was that left ankle injury in 2023, missed 3 games mid-season, came back at 41 catches.
Yeah.
The year prior to that, he had 74 catches for 15.6 average and 10 touchdowns. This past year, 81 catches, 12.5 average and 10 touchdowns. I'm calling him a professional receiver. You know what you're getting with Emeka Egbuka. Once he ran that 4.47 40, that solidified him as a late first, maybe even a mid-first, but Emeka Egbuka running under.
Yeah, Mike Evans is fading out. He's getting old. Chris Godwin was hurt. Makes sense.
Professional approach is how he became a first-round draft choice.
Think about where Emeka plays primarily, right in the slot. Who's the guy who can also win outside, real tough inside, make contested catches, threaten the middle of the field. Who does that for Tampa Bay? Chris Godwin.
And the Bronco game out the start.
Very, very significant injury. This makes you wonder. They must be concerned a little bit about what's going on with Chris Godwin and maybe his availability. Who knows for 2025?
Bronco game is turning on right now, y'all. Sheesh, bro.
This is a little bit of a curveball of a pick, but when you start trying to think about why this may have happened, You gotta have to start like following the breadcrumbs.
It also makes you wonder if you're.
Hey man, I need the Broncos take the Nuggets take care of business because the way they talking about this Kawhi Leonard performance, bro. You thought he was Jesus Shuttlesworth or something. Golly, my boy went hot. They won by 3 points, bro. But they legit acting like
they were going to go defense.
Nuggets ain't got no chance.
Everyone
I'm just
told me
like,
they
bro,
were
the
going to
series is
go defense.
close.
But again, this is not in any way a reflection on Emeka Egbuka, who was a terrific player there. You see Todd Bowles, the coach of the Buccaneers. So the Denver Broncos are on the clock, and then the Steelers.
I'm taking notes right now, y'all. I'm setting up my notes as we speak.
And it's about to get all the more interesting. We're back in Green Bay in just a moment.
The 2025 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott, is brought to you by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business today at progressive.com.
All right, Blues versus White. Nuggets white jerseys again.
Germany, 1984.
I earned it for my family in 1945.
Mom earned it for us.
USAA membership is for those who served and can be shared with their spouses, then kids, and their kids for generations to come. And because our members know USAA's commitment to serving the military community, they're proud to start their families.
Ooh, that stadium look cold.
So is our family.
USAA. See if you can become a member today. Members who switch save
That stadium is tough.
$725 annually on auto insurance.
Look at the wall.
I was tired of being told no. No to my dreams.
I had no idea if anyone would buy anything.
This is so wild that I actually, from a dream, started a business.
All right, let's see, y'all. Come out with some energy.
I know. Is this yours? Yeah. No way. Yes way. Well, get in.
Clippers win too.
There's nothing like that first Mercedes feeling.
They're running zone.
Experience the feeling yourself at a local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Zone on the first play.
Really?
Good D. AGN one.
Let's start paying attention to breasts when it matters the most.
Yeah, that's a good D by Michael Porter
for breast
on
cancer
Zoo.
is a game changer, and why I'm able to be here today. So let's get more women screened than ever before at yourattentionplease.com.
It's a rare thing when someone you've been with for so long finds a way to surprise you. It's like discovering E-Trade's easy-to-use platform now comes with the power of Morgan Stanley.
Mom can speak Walrus?
This is Roundup for lawns. This stuff works. This stuff kills weeds down to the root without killing your lawn. This stuff works on dandelions, crabgrass, clover. This stuff works for up to 3 months. This stuff works guaranteed or your money back. This stuff works on big lawns, small lawns, and I guess you can call that a lawns. This stuff works without killing your lawn. This stuff works without killing your weekend. This stuff works for the rookies and the seasoned pros. This stuff works in Knoxville,
Broncos pick is in.
Rockville, Marysville. This is Roundup for lawns. This
Strong zone. Good contest by Jokic to start too.
This is Formula One.
It's lights out and away we go.
17.
The season continues.
Norman
in
Powell with the
Miami,
three.
Sunday, May 4th on ABC, the exclusive home of F1.
Welcome back to Green Bay. The Denver Broncos are on the clock at number 20, and right now it's time for a look at Mel's Best Available, brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Yeah, he got some good ones. Shador, I'm amazed right now that he's still
Jokic floater.
as I was with Aaron Rodgers. New Orleans, hey, I'm going to wait and see who makes a move to get Shador Sanders before I start talking about those organizations that will haunt them. Will Johnson, we don't.
Good D. AG still.
Where he went, good corner. Had he been healthy through the process, would have been a top 10 to 15 pick. I love Amari and Hampton for Denver. I've said it for 3 months. They need a running back who's complete. He is to help out Bo Nix. Josh Simmons was the best tackle before he got hurt in October in that game against Oregon. That's why he's still available. Right tackle, left tackle could play guard as well. And I'm surprised Matthew Golden, once he ran 4-2-9.
Broncos pick is in. I can't see it. I'm looking at the screen.
When the Heels have 2 really good years at Houston with the Cougars, Matthew Golden did anything and everything in Texas.
Nuggets playing good defense so far.
And then ran great.
Good block,
I'm
MPJ.
really surprised Golden's still here at this point in the draft.
Been an interesting night, very strange one in some ways. We had the enormous trade at the very beginning, Jacksonville moving up from 5 to 2, but that has been the only trade we've had so far in round 1. And I'll mention again, the fewest in any first round in the common draft era was 3, and that goes back to 1971 is the most recent time. So we've generally had a lot more than that. The Broncos pick is in, and here comes the commissioner with a special guest to make the selection.
23 years.
April is World Wish Month, and the NFL is proud to support the life-changing wishes that Make-A-Wish grants.
Let go, Broncos.
Yes. One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has...
Wow, they're going defense. Told y'all. Jade Baron.
His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on Sam as his wish comes true. Take it away, Sam.
Yo, that's crazy. Jade Baron is a big dog. I told y'all. Loaded up defense, bro.
NFL draft, the Denver Broncos select Jade Baron, DB, Texas.
It's a wonderful moment. Jade Baron, a young man, grew up in
Jade
Austin.
Baron's a great
much
pick.
Decorated in his final season with the Longhorns. Mel, a consensus All-American, won the Jim Thorpe Award as the best defensive back in the country, had 5 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, 2 Texas Longhorns ran great at the combine and needed to. Matthew Golden, I've been talking about the 4.29. How about Jade Baron running a 4.39 when some thought he'd run 4.45?
Jade Baron is a crazy pick, y'all.
Pounds. Plays everywhere in that secondary for Texas. Super smart, can blitz, intercept passes. I talk about
Like, they're basically telling you that they're not going to score on them.
5 interceptions, 11 pass breakups this past year. Jade Baron did short tackles.
All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, man. But that was a great 2 hours. 1,782 people here. The Denver Broncos take Jade Baron. Great picks. Defense gets even better.
Baron because of the fact that he's a great locker room guy.